a halo from time to time,
Mm-hmm.
means then that because they're out of sight, it's out of mind. So it's
Mm-hmm.
human nature. So it does take a special someone to think beyond the space that they're in and exude the kindness externally as well as looking for it. Because if you're not looking for it, you won't see it. So you've got to train your mind. Your heart may already be pure, but you've got to then train your mind so it then starts to look for the areas where the gaps are. Because again, your mind and the universe will fill those gaps. But if you're not looking for it, you're not going to see it. And it's not that you don't care, it's just that you're not looking for it. You're not making a conscious effort to look for it. So because of all the internal work that you've done over the years, from a learning, from a reading, from a traveling, from an experience, you bring things to the table that others who have never traveled won't actually even think about, because they won't see it as a problem. They won't see it as an issue. But the beauty of traveling and the beauty of what you've done in the past means that you've experienced different cultures, you've experienced different religions, you've experienced different ways of life, read extensively, gives you an opportunity or a window into other worlds, other avenues, which then means you're likely to bring it back. But just because you're bringing it back doesn't necessarily mean they want to hear it at that point.
And one of the other things, it was a nature of a conversation I was having just a few days ago, right? I was traveling on the train, and I was on the way to visit a brother, right? And sitting on a cross. I think I shared the experience of where I was speaking with this person. He was sitting there with his daughter, who was on a school outing. I didn't share. Anyhow, it just happens we just happened to be sitting there, and he was on the other side of the aisle, and he was sitting with his daughter, and he was one of the chaperones for the school outing. Yeah. So he was there, and he just struck up a conversation. We just struck up a conversation, and we was just talking about certain things, and then he asked me, oh, what am I doing, type of thing, and he said he was on vacation, and he was asked the night before if he could chaperone for the class, type of thing, so I said, yeah, well, yeah, okay. So he's come out, and he's like, his first time he's doing it and everything else, and and he said that it can be overwhelming with all these children and everything, so, and then we started, then it led into that conversation about caring for our parents, looking after our parents. I didn't lead the conversation. He just happened to just bring it up, that, basically like children having respect for elders and things like this and all that. And then, like I shared with him halfway through that I'm actually a carer for my mother. And he said, yeah, he says that is a natural thing. That's a natural thing, that, you're supposed to look after your family. He says, in my culture, we look after our family, and things like this. And in him saying that, and I'm taking that segment out of what he said there, right? That in his culture, that is what is natural for them to do. And like with my experience of going to like the Mediterranean places like the Turkey, right? Like you would see that a lot of the places that you would go to, like, were public places, right? They were always family orientated. Right? They encourage you to bring your children. They would even feed the children free, right? And they would cater for them even away from the parents, at a separate table, so that the parents could actually sit in peace and eat while they're in the restaurant, type of thing. This is the level of standard service that you would get, type of thing. And obviously, if it was the elders, they get treated like royalty anyway, right? So, but you could see they were exhibiting that, and it was everywhere that you went,
Mm,
everywhere that I went, and that is what I saw in
mm,
that way there, right? But like, it's unfortunately the UK specifically,
mm,
they seem to just decimate all of those cultural um, uh, practices,
mhm,
no matter where you come from in the world,
mhm,
right? That you'll get a generation of youngsters coming here, and then they'll be disrespectful to their parents,
mm,
right?
mm,
They would have no care for their welfare,
mm,
you know.
mm,
And I think to myself, why would they feel that that is a natural thing? Whereas I feel, and I know, and I'm very aware of it now, that I'm of a different generation again, right? It was like, as we say, the old school,
mhm,
right? The old school, and it literally was that it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, whatever, you show respect to elders,
mm, mm,
right? And it was one of those things of that even the white people used to do it round where I grew up,
mm, mm,
right?
mm.
And obviously, as time has gone on and generations has gone on, right, that it seems to have decimated or dissipated aside
Mm.
that the child is running the house rather than the adult, so to speak. Now, yeah.
Some my thoughts on that
Mm.
is it a cultural thing in the UK?
But
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
say yes. I would agree with you in terms of yes, and I'm just thinking
Mm,
about the way that we live.
mm,
So the first generation that came over on Windrush or came over during that generation,
mm,
they
mm,
were more encouraged to keep the family ties together, uh,
mhm,
get together, to have that Sunday dinner, to sit around the table, to have those conversations, to look after the elders. More often than not, they were sending the money back home.
mm,
Um, but it was more of a necessity for them, and it was more of a let's keep together because when we keep together and we've got that collective thing, we can do the things like buy the houses, take
mm,
we can look after each other's children, we can gather, we can play dominoes, we can do the things that we used to do when we were at home in the sunshine.
mhm,
But as the generations grew, so I remember and I often hear Sharon saying, my cousin Sharon saying, um, when we were young, we were taken to the funerals, the weddings, the parties,
mm,
whatever. We didn't have a choice. When our children get to the age where they have their children,
mhm,
they're not bringing them, so they're not gathering, so they're getting used to the one-eyed monster being the primary soul of
mm,
entertainment. So they're not gathering in the same way, so they're keeping it there. It becomes more nuclear, and
mhm,
nuclear becomes me, you, and I,
mhm,
and that's not how my understanding of how A, my mother and or father grew up, and B, the cultural aspects that they had, back in the day. So it means then that when they get old, unless you've got children who have that caring heart and have time for you, you do end up being on your own because everyone then gets busy. And my busy means I'm gonna give you a call, mum, but I may not necessarily come round and see you. I still love you, but I'm not gonna be able to come round and sit down with you. And you live in your house and I've built my home and I've got my children, yada yada. So we all move into that mindset, which is a sad state of affairs because we want the um, what do you call it, the culture in terms of the coffee culture, in terms of being able to sit on the street and have a coffee or a latte or a drink or a whatever, but we don't want the trappings that go along with it. We
mm,
don't appear to invest in the, like you say, the encouraging the children to come also.
mhm,
And more often than not, if you're in a space like that and they're children and they're making up noise, all the adults look around as if to say, "Why are you making up noise? Why did you bring it?" It
mm,
becomes almost like an inconvenience.
Yeah.
It's actually the wrong way around. Because if we do that to the children, then we're going to do that to the adults. Because the children, by default, will remember that children are seen and not heard. By default, when they become adults, their children are going to be not even seen and heard. They're going to be in a different room, I need my child, let me have them on the mobile phone, rather than come up and call them or even shout out for them. You don't even do that now. And because we don't need to get up and turn the television over, we don't need the children any longer close to us, because we've got our remote control. So society and the way we live encourages us to do things for ourselves, but in doing things for ourselves, there's a detriment to, if we're blessed enough to get to the younger ages and to do the younger age again without the trappings of, unfortunately, the beauty of our mind in the way that we'd nurtured it as we grew up, we may suffer unless we have the children or child that can help and support us. Because as you said, some of the religious houses, if they don't see their congregation, I can say from my mother's point of view, she never went to church from COVID. And I can count on my
That's
hand.
only a few years. Those are only a few years.
I can count on my hand the amount of times I know the pastor never visited, but it was a sitting pastor. So did he have chance? I'll give him grace that he may not have had the opportunity because they didn't have a regular pastor. But then there were members of the congregation, probably about 4 to 6 max, who would pass by intermittently, but the majority didn't. Did they ring? Because that's the next best thing, because the telephone's a beautiful thing. No. So it was almost as if to say, as much as my mum was a paid up member and used to in the past go on their outings and get involved, and didn't get into the choir because her voice was like mine, really good. And it was so good that they thought that it needed to have a special space on the next pew. But she she didn't. So did it.
That's nicely done. Nicely done. Anyway,
yeah, so they didn't. So as much as, and she had a card that said she was a member of that church, etc. But she didn't get the support. So I know during her homecoming, and it was, okay, I'm going to do a 9-night because that's what I grew up with. That was a tradition. It's not a candlelight, which is what they talk about in Jamaica now. I was going to do a 9-night. So I put it out to the church, and a number of the congregation came to support, and they were saying beautiful things. And I thought to myself, I never saw you. So it means you had that love in your heart, but I never saw you. And I don't know whether or not my mother felt it because she never saw or heard from you.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying in terms of, from a church point of view, and I must check and see whether or not here they do things slightly different. I know in my mother's church I can turn around and say no, but that's not a reflection of all the churches. And because of the culture, things and our African culture heritage, and the thought that we did start with the village raising the child as a part of our DNA, it may still be part of some of the congregations' well-being and how they act. Because I can speak about my goddaughter and her grandfather who recently transitioned. And I believe, again, he was a man, a strong man of faith. And there were numbers of the congregation that went and visited. But do they have something set up specifically for someone who's getting younger? I would say no. And that's the key. That's the question. Because some of the congregation and a lot of the churches will have their minibuses so they can go around and pick up, because if they can pick them up and take them to church, then they can go and pick them up on a Friday, for argument's
mm,
sake, and take them to the church, warm the church, provide a meal, and to provide some form of activity for them. But I refuse to believe all churches don't do that, but there should be more that do.
mm,
So it
mm,
should be
mm.
easier to find rather
Well,
than being
no,
unique.
I mean, the thing is that okay, then we're specifically carving out our experience.
Mm,
Yeah, but it's not necessarily just within like a religious organization.
mm,
It could be formed like, for instance, we're here as a Galaxy family,
mm,
right? We
mm,
know that there's a need,
mm,
right? We can, because like there are brothers and sisters, Galaxy members, Galaxy presenters who are constantly, continuously doing charitable works,
mm,
right, in our community,
mm,
right? So it's
mm,
not a case of that we don't know that it's not there,
mm,
right?
mm,
But it's to say, okay, then look, we see we see that there is this need for culturally appropriate, I would say, if
mm,
I put it this way, culturally appropriate and associated caring
mm,
requirements.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
We had a few in the Lewisham area,
mm,
and I emphasize had a
mm,
few in
mm,
Lewisham area.
mm,
Unfortunately, where they needed the supplementary support financially,
mm,
that was withdrawn
mm,
by the local authorities,
mm,
right? And
mm,
then through that, obviously, the income that they were getting wasn't enough to maintain and sustain
mm,
those places,
mm,
right?
mm,
And then even after that, there was the case of that they let certain places fall into dilapidation
mm,
as well.
mm,
Like it let it get overrun by infestations.
mm, mm,
You know,
mm,
let the units that was there, like the cooking units and everything, let them like get broken down.
not maintain them.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, even if you were there, you couldn't use the facilities properly anyway.
Mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm,
right. And
mm,
then obviously the staff as well. They their standards dropped as well and everything else.
mm,
And then it was highlighted. It got highlighted to such an extent that it got into the local press and in some of these places. And then
mm,
they came and they said, "Well, we're going to close it down."
mm,
Not the case of, okay, then let's see what we can do to repair this and
mm,
get it back up into it. No, their emphasis was close it down,
mm,
right?
mm,
Yeah. Not and the thing is that obviously all those residents now, they
mm,
will probably have to go and find somewhere else to go and live, but not being able to get the things what they had
mm,
within that area, like the cultural awareness and like foods and things like this as well,
mm,
right?
mm,
So when you have those things that are against you
mm.
in the first place, you think, wow, wow, it's like they really are just throwing you onto the pile, you know, they're just throwing you away.
So again, and this is just from memory and some of the conversations. Now, they will have, and I don't know whether or not that's part of having the day, the month, or the week when they look at the elderly and focus and or concentrate on. So that means you're almost relegated to a specific period of time, because outside of that, we can forget about you. But because we do remember you on a date called X at a time called Y, then that does show that we love you and we do care for you. When in fact, it's actually the reverse is true. We should be remembering them and doing something. So the shutting down and allowing it to dilapidate maybe accident on purpose. There's going to be a funding. There's going to be a finite amount of funding. So in some senses, what do we do for ourselves? That's the question we need to get back to, because we all know what the issues are. We know what the problems are.
Yeah.
The solutions that you spoke about was from a church-based or faith-based point of view. What can they do, even if it's just for a day?
Yeah.
Even if it's just for 3 hours? That would be a beautiful 3 hours for the carer. They know that their parent, their elder, their person that's transitioning, getting younger by the day, they're in a space where A, they're warm, B, they're meeting up with others who look like them, sound like them, and C, they can potentially get a warm drink or a bite to eat. But everyone's going to turn around and say the funding. We can get around the funding, because if we allow the funding to stop us, then we will never do it. And the universe will provide what's needed, but it does need someone within the faith-based communities to do something and to offer something to their congregation, who may have been part of their congregation, whether it be for 1 year or 10 years or 21 years. They need to start thinking about, how do we support the congregation? Because a lot of the congregations are getting older. So to be fair, spot the signs. It's not that they don't know or they don't recognize. It's that we all make choices. And sometimes our choices are geared at my ego in terms of, how can I grow the flock? I know there are people dropping off at the other end, but let's see if I can grow the flock. Rather than let's grow and let's think about those at both ends as well as those that are in the middle. Let me be the one that's different, and we'll see what solutions we can come up with, or even have the conversations, because there are things that can be done that, and if they ask the congregation, to be fair, because they're all paying tithes, they can ask the congregation for the support, because again, this, I would imagine the congregation, because a number of the congregation will have either gone through it, in it, or will about to go through it if they're blessed. So they will be prepared to add some more to the tithes. The church roof has already been fixed. We've already got the kitchen in.
For the umpteenth time.
Yes, so let's do something else. As the pastor doesn't need to have a brand new car, he can have the same car. It's a service and it works. But let's get a bus where we can go around and we can pick up our elders, and let's get some volunteers within the community, within the faith-based organization that says, yes, I'll come by on that Friday, or I'll come by on that Thursday, or whatever the case may be. But it may be, like I said, I refuse to believe all faith-based do not do something.
No. And this is just it, because I'm just going through my mind of where have I seen anything like that, right? And it's only a few places that I can say, probably name associated, right? Whether it's supported by like members of that religious sect, I don't know, right? But it's only like name associated or related that I would say actually do that. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of one in South London that I'm set up. They have something in place because they do something for children. So I refuse to believe they don't do something for their elders as well.
Well, that's just it. That's just it. We have to highlight these places anyhow to just say, okay, then we know some. Yeah. Let's see. We got who we got now? Oh, Brother Desmond.
Yes, rise up, Brother Aston, and rise up, Sister Sandra.
Oh, great.
Brother Desmond.
Yeah, it's been a little while since
I know.
I called in,
it's true.
I thought, let me check Brother Aston today, because it's been a little while.
We're glad to hear you. Glad to hear you.
Likewise. Yeah, I was listening to your presentation, and you touch on a topic that I feel very passionate about.
Great.
Unfortunately, it's not in a positive way.
Well, it's okay. Listen, wherever you are with it, that's where it is at this time.
Bring it to the table.
Yeah, because I've been analyzing the journey of our people and being a person that is conscious of the ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that the tool of imperialism and colonization was jointly carried out by thieves and missionaries.
Mm-hmm.
And the missionary gave us a form of religion that instilled in us a disrespect and a dislike for our own cultural history. And that created in us a very strong form of low self-esteem. And that has left us unable to deal with the issues of this journey in terms of our economics, our politics, our, all the functioning of a society. So we are very dependent on a Lord, Master, and Savior. And because of that thinking, we're not able to identify our common interests because we don't recognize our common interests. We recognize the interest that has been implanted in us. And those interests are totally against us. And so we're therefore unable to plan or organize. And it's interesting that the only planning and organizing we seem to be able to do collectively is on the basis of religion. So you'll find that in doing that, we will hang on to the proverbial frock tail of the Church of England, of the Seventh-day Adventists, of the Pentecostal, of the Mormons, and all these are colonialist, white supremacist, terrorist organizations.
Which were instigators of the slave system anyhow.
Well, this goes beyond enslavement. It goes to the destruction of our authenticity and our personality. Which is why they did not want us in their mainstream church. Because our way of practicing our religion and communicating with our gods was different to theirs. So we're left in a situation now where we're totally devoid of any sense of self. So this idea can be related to education, for example. How education is supposed to prepare you or program you to control power. Now,
hold on. Just pause there a second, Elder Desmond. The reason why I'm smiling about this part, right? Because and I'm sure Sister Sandra was on this course, the course with Professor Les Henry. Right, remember?
Oh yeah, I know, Brother Les Henry. Yeah,
right. He did a course of was it the education of what was the title of that thing, man? But it was emphasis on the decaying aspect of it. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He just brought that to my mind right there now. Right. So yeah. Continue, my brother. Continue.
Yeah. Well, it's just saying that even if you learn a skill, you're supposed to be proficient in that skill, and that gives you a certain amount of power. Now, the domestication that operates in us is in the form of our behavior is deemed and supervised and programmed by somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's saying that, for example, if you send your child to a Roman school, why should you be surprised when they start speaking Latin?
Mm-hmm.
So we do not educate our children. We allow them to be domesticated by the very people that define who we are. So I heard someone said about, someone wanted to know how black people think.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, they know how black people think because black people are colonized people,
Mm-hmm.
devoid of any land. So they have no culture.
Mm-hmm.
They have no history or story. Because the only story they have is the one that they've been programmed with.
It's a crazy.
But I said, when you think of Africans, they are different in terms of they belong to a land.
Mm-hmm.
They come from somewhere. They are somebody. Black is an adjective. It's not a noun. And I was taught that people are nouns.
Mm-hmm.
So if you dehumanize me to a descriptive form,
Mm-hmm.
then there's no wonder I do not know and know how to behave and know who I am.
Let me I'm going to support you on some part of that, right? I was listening to some of the information that was shared earlier on today on the station, and while I was there, I was just listening, and there was a report that was being shared, and it was shared by an American reporter, right? And his description, right, for a person that he was looking for in Palestine when he went to visit in Israel, Jerusalem, and he was looking for this person who was like an African who was living in that area there, right? And he was looking for him specifically because he had made some videos and things like that. So he just wanted to meet him. And the way how he described him was so American that I thought, wow, he doesn't even realize what he's saying. And how he described him, and this is how he's describing him, as a Afro-Palestinian. Not an African in Africa.
No.
But an Afro-Palestinian.
A hairstyle Palestinian. He must have an Afro hairstyle who is a Palestinian.
Exactly. So he doesn't even see him as an African being in Africa.
Yeah.
Right? So therefore, even his presence in that place of Jerusalem, he doesn't realize that his location is in Africa.
Yeah, because he's been programmed to believe it's in the Middle East.
Wow.
And if you ask him Middle East to where, he would not be able to tell you.
Exactly.
Because it can't be Middle East if you're in Southern Africa.
Mm-hmm.
It would be North Africa.
Mm.
You see, this is where I'm saying, for example, time.
Mm.
I said to someone, the human mind cannot have any concept of time.
Mm-hmm.
So humans, in terms of controlling each other, they develop a system that they could use to control you. So they tell you that there's 24 hours in a day. No, there isn't. In some places, it's less than 8 hours in a day. The rest is night. But when they want you to work night and to usurp your time,
mm-hmm.
in other words, control you, they'll tell you it's 24. So if you give them 12, that's all right. You still have 12 left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that concept doesn't work when you put it into practice. Because you need probably 8 hours minimum to sleep. it means you need probably 8 hours for your family life and leisure. And then if you do 8 hours, that's too much to work.
Yep.
Because you shouldn't have to work 8 hours to enjoy 16 hours.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I mean, before the Catholic Church took over the running of Rome, the Romans had about 160 days a year holiday. When the church took over, it came down to holy days, and they designated which days they were.
Which is madness again. Which is absolute madness again. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but going back to the beginning of what I was saying, you see, the three barriers is the church, our mind of being conditioned through a religion that was designed to denigrate and dehumanize us. And it saddened me. I looked at the Charity Commission because I wanted to check out a local church. And their aim and objective is to promote Christian values and morals. Now, this is a Black-led church, Black-sponsored church. And I thought to myself, how could you want to promote the same value and morals that enslave and brutalize our people?
That's right.
No.
That's right.
Why not set it up to promote education or cultural history or social history or mathematics or science? No, you promote, and this is why they're given those status of charity, so you don't have to pay tax. So the local, the leaders or the rogues, they can siphon off money from the community and then invest it. Now, when I check this church, they have declared assets of over 3.5 million. And they have revenue coming in of over 90,000 a year. Now, this is in a, what you call it, a market town. Not a lot of,
and there's not money that is actually rolling around, but they control a good percentage.
Yeah. So when I look at their income for 22, it was 249,000. And yet I cannot see where they've spent anything on the community. Where Sister Sandra was saying about the elderly. Now we have an increasing number of the same people that go to these churches are becoming experiencing symptoms of dementia.
That's right.
And yet there is no one there to care for them. We don't have any elderly care home, but yet they have a number of private flats that they've rented out and have income from them of over 90,000 a year.
There you go. You see?
No, that is money that is being taken from the community and nothing is returning. Now, the original concept of the 10% was for the church to be able to look after the poor and needy.
Listen, if they actually morally reset themselves, right? The whole community would be on their doorstep.
Of course it would be. And it would be stronger. And it would be a point of organizing and planning. So we could address the issues that are directly affecting us. But because we do not recognize the danger facing us, we expect the same people that put us in that position in the first place to find the solution for us. So we march for equality. No, there's no such thing. This is why they dangle it out there in front of you. The problem is not inequality. The problem is privilege. Some people have privileged position in our community which they don't deserve.
Hold on. Slow down. Now this is another dilemma. This is another dilemma that I've got with this thing. Okay, let me put it this way, and this is the perspective that I'm coming with you to you with, right?
Mm.
You work your entire life, right? You're financially astute that you put a little aside. You look for your family, right? You do some investments, and you're doing things that is helping the community. Those things that are helping the community have been profitable, right? You've had a successful business or life and everything else. All your children, they've grown, they've got full education, they've gone into a higher education, and they're doing exactly repeating the same or similar thing that you are doing, and they're very successful in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you are all sitting there at the table, right, of distribution. Do you feel, say, the person who has not as much as you should get more than you when you're sitting there at the table of distribution?
Right. I'll start by saying I try not to deal with issue of belief.
Yeah,
I
okay.
try to look at evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Now I look at some of these mainstream or white organization and families,
Mm-hmm.
and they tend to set up trusts.
That's right. But which is available to everybody, to access.
According to your needs, and you give according to your means.
Mm.
So it's not an individual thing about one person. It's about a family.
Mm.
And if you look at many Asians or Jewish family, you will find that when one succeeds, they all rejoice, because they know that one will be returning a certain amount back to the family.
Yeah.
When a black person seems to achieve, the rest envy them, because they know that it will only be used to show off on each other, and none of it will be returning, because we cannot keep the pound within the community, because we do not provide the services or product that we need.
I'm hearing from the angle that you're coming at. But I'm talking about that person, right, who is, like, as I say, financially astute. So therefore, he's put these things in place, like, as you say, trusts, right? What them call it again?
A functioning family would have a trust, because even my own situation, from my youth was born, my last youth, I made, and this was where Tony Blair was quite useful in showing me a certain way forward. And Tony Blair did give every child £250 towards a trust.
That's right.
And I was able to put on that a regular amount, and that has been very good. Now, if every family, or if everyone is conscious of their family, one of the things that family is supposed to do is to provide security. So the problem we have as African in the diaspora is that our family structures are weak and diverse. So we tend to over amplify the individual behavior instead of the family behavior. We cannot really plan for our children anymore, because most of them have been programmed to see themselves as individuals. So they are thinking from an individualist perspective, where many of us, the older generation, tend to be looking at the collective. And there's a dichotomy there, because there are two different diametrically opposed ideas.
Okay.
The collective things of making it together, the individual wants to just go off and be a great one. So when I see someone, for example, in the paper, and they said, oh, the first black person. So I said, well, where are the rest? Yeah, when someone gets maybe one of these racist titles, I'm thinking, well, don't they know what they're doing? But because it's an individual thing, they're not responsible for anybody else, because the white supremacists would say, you are all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's the others that's the problem.
Yeah, I've heard that one before as well. Yeah.
So it's a contortion action you have to make.
Yeah. All right, listen. We've come up to our time now. Time period of our midday meditation now, right?
It's been a lovely time talking with you.
Yeah, man.
Bless up, Sister Sandra. I hope I haven't talked too much and
yes, you have.
imposed too much in your time.
You're more than welcome now.
As Dr. Abu would say.
Yeah, man. He did fast. He fast through. He fast through. You know, he did fast through. He came through just earlier. Anyhow, listen.
Till next time.
Yeah, man. More time. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with us on the rising. Yeah, Elder Desmond. Right. And if you haven't checked out his works there, right? He has a book. He has some books and everything out there that he's written as well. So you should take a look and look into the philosophies and teachings of our Elder Desmond. Yeah. All right. We'll come to the midday, and we're going to be doing our midday meditation right here on the Galaxy of We.net. Ain't that so, Sister Sandra?
Yes, Brother Aston. It's that gives us that opportunity just to slow down in order to speed up. Gives us an opportunity to exhale any tension that we have, any toxicity we have, and inhale some light and some energy, so we can think with clarity. So as Brother Aston says, we're coming up to the midday meditation. Take time out just to slow down and to meditate on the words and the vibration.
So true. So true. So without further ado, let's go into our midday meditation this strong here on the Galaxy of We.net on the Blacknificent Radio Show.
Hear me when I call, O God of my righteousness. Though I say, Lord, enemy, when I am in distress, help me, Father, while I put my trust in you. Because I just want to do everything that is right. Have a mercy on me and hear my prayer. So brighten up my days and let it be fairer. For oh, ye children of men, how long will you turn my glory away? Help me, Father, and guide us anyway. How long will the wicked love vanity? For unity, humanity, we all shall be free. Whoa, yeah. For the happiness, yes. Have a mercy on me and hear my prayer. So brighten up my days and let it be fairer. For oh, we children of men, how long will you turn my glory away? Help me, Father, and guide us anyway. humanity is the key for unity. Humanity, we all shall be free.
Well, here comes the musical thing called Renegade there on the air, not juggling. Son about that juggling. MJH attack style. Well, here comes the musical thing called They up on the air, man juggling. Warriors and warriors, the son of trouble him. Bring me a job from the west because my war relief is stress. So I just see me up, give me more and nothing less of that boom dra. Just give me that boom dra. Hey, I beg you put it on the road, chalice a gate, cause she a know that just the center of the room and make me brain overload with that boom dra. So give me that boom dra. Yeah. As me rise up in the morning, some me greet it like the world, and then me pull it in and me whistle and me kiss it like the girl. Whenever me feel stressed out, I'm fed up. Yeah, man, just smoke it till me eyes never end up. Hey, not smoking on hungry belly, that's no free food of the cook. And farmer man go till the side because them no food of the look. Say it no matter if you're falling or you're straight up. Ready gets ready till you set up or you get up. Yeah, bring me a job from the west because my war relief is stress. So I just see me up, give me more and nothing less of that boom dra. Just give me that boom dra. Hey, I beg you put it on the road, chalice a gate, cause she alone that just the center of the room and make me brain overload with that boom dra. So give me that boom dra. Nothing preserve, but just the natural me. Plus by your ego riverside, the whole natural free. Me not smoke chemical, just the natural string. Just like the honey we produce out of the natural tea. Oh yeah, but the world to keep you wanted. Plus it help your whole life meditation. When weight is the healing of the nation. Bring me a job from the west because my war relief is stress. So I just see me up to give me more and nothing less of that boom dra. Just give me that boom dra. Hey, I beg you put it on the road, chalice a gate, cause she alone that just the center of the room and make me brain overload with that boom dra. So give me that boom dra. Vital is vital. Yes, I hope them hear this.
You're in tune to the midday meditation here on the Galaxy of the Week.
You can't come hear this. Still me big up every wallet. Even though me a Rasta man and a veggie. Black carpet. Checking out.
Only Jah knows the pressure we bear, the struggles we face every day. Only Jah knows the heartache and the pain, the stress on the brain, and it shows. Even when I try to do things right, someone's there putting up a fight. And when I try to play it cool, the love and talk stay nice. And when I stop, kick back and reflect, if it wasn't for Jah, they would have stopped my breath. But all in all, I do things with a smile. With a smile. Only Jah knows the pressure we bear, the struggles we face every day. Only Jah knows the heartache and the pain, the stress on the brain, and it shows. Watch them wonder, how me so happy when me step and I go through me ever clean me no crappy. Nothing on me heart, me nah no hate for nobody. Them a evil set them lives like I can see what they are up to. They wanna deceive and confuse you, and then they act as if what they do is the norm. But only Jah knows The pressure we bear, the struggles we face every day. Only Jah knows the heartache and the pain, the stress from the brain, and it shows. Only Jah knows. Jah knows.
Yes. At these times, we take the steps. We take the steps of freedom and liberation.
Warn them, Jah, I beg you, warn them. Teach them, Father, please teach them. Because they really don't know the right from the wrong. Oh yes, we all are seeing redemption song. We all gotta chant on the Babylon. For waking us, I am the people are African. Yes, it's brothers against brothers and sisters against their own. They are saying one man can't stand alone. Yes, don't hurt your brother, baby. Let's chant on Babylon. It's sweet. Oh yeah, yeah. It's brothers against brothers and sisters against their own. They are saying one man can't stand alone. Oh Lord, we all are dealing with the living, but if there's so much for criticism, and those are the things that ruin the nation. Yes, don't hurt your brother, man. Let's chant on Babylon. Yes, worry the hope, yeah. Yes, I come. It's sweet. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Cha-cha must come around and fire turn up fire. Here we go. Never give up the faith. Your blessing never too late. I never take Satan day to live in hate. I love your create. I never be ungrateful. Give God the praise, and there will be brighter days. Hope and just embrace. I give thanks for your saving grace. Difficulty today, your rest time. Jammy fine, peace of mind. Wow, so I'm gonna get what's mine now. Not nothing gonna stop I. Yeah, then cause then I walk that line. And I'm not just in the most high. God bless you all that all the wicked oh can't decide. Yo, no make the system stress I. Yes, I never give up the faith. God bless it never too late. Never take Satan day to live in hate. I love your create. I never be ungrateful. Give that the praise. and there will be brighter days. Love and just embrace and give thanks for the saving grace. Faith are the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. I and the works in the Most High Supreme, and remember His Holy Spirit is clean, yeah. And you when some of the vision and jig. So burn out them tricks and them evil regime. I have never blaspheme, strength to strength, they unite as a team. I'll never give up the faith. Your blessing never too late. Never take Satan day to live in it. God love your create. I never be ungrateful. Give that a praise, and there will be brighter days. Love and just embrace. Give thanks to your saving grace. Mama say easy come easy go, so not no come easy and not this me know. But do remember say danger love a show. Oh, everything in life take time to grow. So hold on strong and never let go. That knows about today and tomorrow. Oh, your brains are shallow. Oh, hear me when me go say so. Never give up the fight. Your blessing never too late. I never get bait your ball, never live in it, cause His love shall create. Never give up the faith. Your blessing never too late. You will walk it at the praise always, yeah. Wow. And when me look in myself, I know the Most High is my strength. I know they know they in confidence. So me know this government, this system gonna mess. And what you need, you got to do it yourself. Cause when you check it on them, you just can't depend. Most High, you are the only heritage. Whoa, so I tell you, never give up the faith. Your blessing never too late. Never get by Satan bait. To live in hate, love that create. Never give up the faith. I don't know, perseverance, yeah. We've been through blood, sweat, and tears. Oh, but that you still care. I will rise, I will rise and say what I have to say. I will rise, I will rise and do what I have to do. And the more, if given the chance, I will do some more. One thing I know for sure, I will rise, I will. Bright and shine like the morning sun shines bright. Bright down the brightest star. Rise above strain, rise above pain, and higher. High above the waking star. 'Cause happiness is my friend. Sometimes deep, sometimes in my throat, but I will rise and give thanks and praise. Happiness is my friend. Oh yes, I will. I will rise, I will rise and sing this little song. I will rise, I will rise and dance this little dance. And the more, if given the chance, I will dance some more. One thing I know for sure, I will rise, I will. Oh yes, I will rise and shine like never before. Rise, bright can be. Right about sickness, right about stress, and high enough to calm the storm. 'Cause happiness is my friend.
Whoa, yeah. No place to run, wicked, where you gonna run to when you hear your voices calling? I know it's true, for the righteous people are rejoicing. As far as I see, the wicked will be all around. As far as I know, the children, they are singing. I've got to give thanks to God for the marvelous works that He had done for His people. Yes, yes. No place to run. I've got to give thanks to Jah for the mighty full works He had done for His people. I know that Jah He had made love to everyone, but now is the time for righteous people of them come. As far as I see, the wicked don't want us to have enough. As far as I know, the day will come when they will have to run. Whoa, yeah.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
Being a man is what you make it. You can't always live up to expectations. You try to please everybody while you struggle, so you fake it and end up out of balance, compromising situations. As a good man, do what he should, man. Give everything he has and do everything he could, man. You might find yourself feeling all alone inside a house you built that you don't recognize as home. And that's what my daddy told me, and I'll tell my son the same. Now that I'm older, I relate and I actually feel his pain. He never cried, he might have lied, but he did not complain. And he said, son, one day you'll have to do the same. I get emotional when I stop and think and I look around. Beyond the county lines of my small town, I think about all the men out there who feel like I do now, who are screaming on the inside but won't ever make a sound.
I don't expect you to understand.
I just hope I can explain what it's like to be human. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. Don't give up, keep fighting. As a man, our sun is our horizon, and our father's actions play a role, and we end up like them. So they can't let us see them hurt, cause we'll embody what they do and start a generational curse. No wonder most men are so depressed, all the things that they can't express. They go to war, get thrown on the shelf, and go back to war with their mental health. Then grab that bottle and ask for help, try to pull themselves out of hell, then fall back down and then realize that they're gonna have to do it themselves. It's the circle of life. As a man, you provide. They don't know what you're worth till the day that you die. It's when they start crying, then move on to a man to confide in. That's why we feel we can't hide ourselves. We don't expect you to understand. We just hope we can explain what it's like to be human. It's a lonely road, and you don't care about what we know. It's not about how we feel, but what we provide inside that home. It's not about how we feel, but what we provide inside that home.
Over and over and over until you get to where your assets generate enough passive. That's financial freedom, because you control 100% of your time and you control your financial destiny.
The ancestral voices.
So that's what I'm gonna tell that 22-year-old. Keep your head up. Keep doing what you're doing, but take it up one level. I'm not the know-it-all of everything, guys. I'm just a guy who has been through this. So I have some experience to be able to share this type of information with you, but it doesn't mean everything that I've said today in this video is for you. You got to go out and cut your own path. But I'm telling you, the basics are income, keep the expenses low, and invest. That's it. Income, keep my expenses low, invest. If you do that, you'll win, and you'll win big. Drop me some comments and let me know what you think about this 22-year-old young black man and his story. I think it touched me. So I had to speak to it on a video. Every time I upload a new video, be careful down in the comment section of the videos. A lot of spam, a lot of scammers. I will never ask you to contact me by WhatsApp or Telegram. I also do not invest money for my subscribers. So please be careful. Don't get yourself scammed. If you want up to 12 brokerage app, there's a link down in the description box of the video. And let me just read y'all one of the emails I got, and it really touched me. And I just had to make this video to address this particular email. The email is titled, Young Black Man. I'm 22, man. I work at Amazon, and I'm trying to get this money up, OG. For I wasted time with the wrong cats, and now I'm free. I cut them off. Can you please tell me what to do so I can move correct? I will put in as many hours as possible, man. I want to raise money to make music, but in general, the goal is to have gold and wealth. Man, that's a lot to unpack, right? But I get those types of emails and DMs all the time. And I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, because really, this channel is about helping all people get to financial freedom. But man, I got a soft spot in my heart for young Black men and young Black women. And I have to use my platform to make sure they understand that they can be and do and have anything they want out of this life if they're willing to change some things in their life. And that's going to be my response in this video to this young Black man, 22 years old, whole life in front of him. But I can already tell by just reading his words in his email that it's not been easy for him in these 22 years he's been on this earth. But I'm here to tell him there's light at the end of the tunnel, young brother. But you got to change some things. And I'm going to tell you the things I believe you need to change, and you'll have everything you want out of this life. The number one tool to build wealth, guys, as I've always said, is income. But it's just not about income. It boils down to what you do with that income. Now, we're going to take that income and go make somebody else wealthy. It does nothing for us, right? It does nothing for us towards building our wealth. It doesn't. What it does is it makes somebody else wealthy. So we got to change that mindset of, oh, I just hit me a bag. Now let me run out to Louis Vuitton. Let me run out to XYZ and let me spend this bag so that I can, from an exterior standpoint, look like I'm successful and I'm doing well. But if I peel away all of that exterior stuff, I'm not doing well financially. So we got to start thinking about making income, keeping income, and multiplying income. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's about what we do with that income. So we got to make income. That's no other way. There is no, I'm out of work. No, you got to find work. I don't care what it is. As long as it's legal, find work, start making money. And then you got to take that money and you got to live on less than what you make. I don't care if you're making $1,000 a month. You got to figure out a way to live on less than $1,000 a month, or get yourself out there and make $2,000 a month. I don't care if you need 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, 5 sides. I don't care. You got to make income. And then you got to take that income and you got to live on half of it. And then you got to take the other half and you got to start buying assets. You cannot build wealth without assets. You got to have assets. Real estate for income, paper assets, a business. Those are the big 3. So for this young 22-year-old Black man, I'm going to tell him this. Number one thing you got to do is get your income up. Now, I know you're already working at Amazon and you're working a lot of hours. See, and that's another thing we got to understand. I don't care how many hours you work. That doesn't necessarily mean you get the financial freedom, right? It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter. That's the key. See, I can work 2 hours a day and make more money than someone that's working 15 hours a day. So it's not always about just working hard and working longer hours. It's really about taking your time and figuring out the way to maximize income with the time that you have. So I certainly respect him, got his hustle on at Amazon. But see, at Amazon, I'm trading time for money. I'm making Amazon rich. Don't get me wrong, Amazon pays me, but they pay me a small amount. What I need to figure out is okay, how do I take my time that I'm giving Amazon and put it into my own thing so that I can make me rich and make me wealthy? That's the key. And for him, you got to crawl before you walk. So nothing wrong with the Amazon job, but that shouldn't be what you're satisfied with. You should be thinking right now, okay, I'm giving Amazon 8 hours a day. I got another 16 hours in my day and night that I could be working on my own thing. Let's say I take 8 hours and I go to sleep. I still got an additional 8 hours where I should be doing something to create income that I control, right? That's what I should be thinking about. And then, like I said, once you get that income, you got to start and put it in assets, guys. We can't be putting it in clothes. We can't be putting it in designer shoes. We can't be putting it in watches. We can't be putting it in cars. No, we got to be putting it in assets like real estate for income. We got to be putting it in assets like the stock market through ETFs and index funds, right? We got to be putting it in a business that will generate cash flow and that we can scale and maybe sell that business at some point and get a golden parachute. That's what we should be doing our money. We should not be taking our money and putting it over here, making someone else wealthy. And you know something? We do that a lot. Yes, we do. We do it a lot. And guess what? Before I was 30 years old, I did it too. But see, the light bulb came on for me around 29, 30 years old. And I said to myself, I can't do this anymore. And I start living on less than what I was making. I was making $30,000 a year. And I lived on half of that. But while I was living on half of that 30K a year, guess what I was doing? I was saving my little pennies to put a down payment on a piece of real estate. I was taking $150 every 2 weeks and I was putting it in the stock market through my 401k program at the bank I was working for. So I started multiplying this money. And as I multiplied a little money, it turned into a lot of money. And that's what I'm going to tell this 22-year-old young black man. It's up to you. But you got all the tools here to help you. But you got to take action. And I know you're taking action because you're working at Amazon and you're doing what you need to do. But that's not going to make it. You got to figure out how to elevate from that. You got to elevate from that. Like I said, you got 24 hours in a day. 8 of them you're sleeping. 8 of them you're working at the primary job, but you still got 8 hours left. The key is, what are you going to do with that 8 hours you got left? That's the difference between whether you get to financial freedom or you don't. And that's for all of us, guys. Those 8 hours you got left is the difference. See, with my 8 hours I had left, I was developing side hustles like luxury watch sales and eBay stores. You know, I was doing those types of things with my last 8 hours left. But you know something? I'm glad I did that because it paid off. And as I start building them assets, I wanted to build more. And I started making more money and putting more money into assets. See, and that's the thing, guys. As we make income, as we level up our income, our expenses should always stay the same or low. They should not rise with our income. I don't want my expenses to go up every time I get an increase in income. I want my expenses to stay level when I get increases in income. And then I'm going to take that other income, that increased income, and I'm going to keep investing it in assets. And again, what are assets that I invest in? Businesses, real estate, and the stock market. Those are the 3 assets I invest in, guys. So anybody out there who says, well, what can I invest in? Those 3 things. But guess what? You're going to need some money. You're going to need some income in order to invest in those 3 things. And I've already told you what you do from the income standpoint, right? You get that primary job. I don't care what it is. You make your income. Then you got to develop secondary income sources, side hustles. Everybody has something that they can do for a side hustle. Find your side hustle. Now you got your primary income, you got your side hustle income, your expenses are low. You take all of that additional money and you invest in assets like businesses, real estate, stock market. And you do that over and over and over until you get to where your assets generate enough passive income to take care of your lifestyle. That's financial freedom because you control 100% of your time and you control your financial destiny. So that's what I'm going to tell that 22-year-old. Keep your head up. Keep doing what you're doing, but take it up one level. I'm not the know-it-all, of everything, guys. I'm just a guy who has been through this. So I have some experience to be able to share this type of information with you, but it doesn't mean everything that I've said today in this video is for you. You got to go out and cut your own path. But I'm telling you, the basics are income, keep the expenses low, and invest. That's it. Income, keep my expenses low, invest. If you do that, you'll win, and you'll win big. Drop me some comments and let me know what you think about this 22-year-old young black man and his story. I think I want to know what you guys think. So drop me some comments. If you want them 12 free stocks from Webull, click on that link down in the description box. Open up that new Webull account. Go get that free stock. Go get that free money. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing, share the video, smash the like button. Thoughts become things. You can see it in your mind. You can hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness. Never stop believing in yourself. And I'm going to catch you on the next video. Peace. Today's video is sponsored by my company, RF Financial Consulting. And in my company, I work with individuals just like you through financial mentoring and coaching sessions. And in those 1-hour sessions,
too much illusion, confusion in the material world. Too much corruption and destruction in the material world. They have too much illusion, confusion in the material world. They have too much corruption and destruction in the material world. So no for them a try up and down, urge them with red power and no silence them out. Spread the righteousness all around, so that the youth can stand their ground. Say just said I am not to walk, and you had your words must perform. Things say them can run me warm. Rasta is a raging storm. They have too much illusion, confusion in the material world. They have too much corruption and destruction in the material world. They have too much illusion, confusion in the material world. Too much corruption and destruction in the material world. Marcos and sugar, wash your foot and drink the water. For the works that you've done for Mama Africa. Some man come round here, come bad for Gaza, and a bad for Gully and bring down disaster. The Gaza bust and the Gully come down, because their foundation was not solid. Just lose them out, just lose them out. Them a majority of the people in fair. They look like someone and talking about the Japan and her. But it's them they still like and them not the yeah. Thomas is a Kabbalah shouting down clear. Emmanuel, they are so hidden. We're too much illusion, confusion in their material world. They have too much corruption and destruction in the material world. Too much illusion, confusion in the material world. Too much corruption, destruction in the material world. Oh, but we have to dig up corruption, and kill it from the root. You come to dig up corruption, and kill it from the root. I'm a gunner, so if you root up corruption, root it out. We come to dig up corruption, burn them out, burn them out.
It's a good day. Give thanks for life, live it a good way.
Yes.
Hey,
Special voices.
yeah.
How many of you received the information now?
Like destination is like my goal.
Breathe.
I'm trying till I reach my destination. Flowing like a bird. To you with mighty heart in my head is a vacation. Flowing like the leaves on the breeze. Are we there yet? Because it's been some time. Seen red, I've seen the sunshine. Seen straight and the broken lines. But I'm fine, I'm fine. For road steep corners, some roadside restone might fall and you. But that's no big girl and you mean what you're trying to. Trying till I reach my destination. Blowing like a bird. To you with mighty heart in my head is a vacation. Flowing like the leaves on the breeze. Yeah. I come to sit back, relax and enjoy the ride. Slow with the tides of life. Road might slip free and yes, you might slide. Rastafari, man, and God. Always keep a fear, cause you never know. Road ahead, it's a go rocket at your destination. You're ready to roll, touch and take control. I'm trying till I reach my destination. Blowing like a bird. To you with mighty heart in my head is a vacation. Flowing like the leaves on the breeze. You only need to know. We're like you don't have to see love go. Like how I can never see destination before it reach. But I worry, just work hard and believe. I'm trying till I reach my destination. Flowing like a bird and a bee. To you with mighty heart in my head is a vacation. Flowing like the leaves on the breeze. I'm trying till I reach my destination. Flowing like a bird and a bee. To you with mighty heart in my head is a vacation. Flowing like the leaves on the breeze.
Miss Rena, feel happy. How you feel inside?
You know me good, me know me alright, me feeling fine, me ready for we know.
Walk me through again. What was it that you saw in her that you know that she's going to be my wife?
The way I notice me notice behind me.
Oh, she noticed her.
Now stop look for me. And the two of we are watching one another.
So who was the brave one?
Well, we don't know if he's braver than me or me braver than him.
Who said something first?
Well, me then say me.
What you said to her the day?
Well, not there.
Or the night?
She's sick. She's sick. I'm telling him I come look after her and he say yes.
And from this, you know, say, I'm a wife.
Yes. And it's from this, so he say me if you stay.
Is it the first time you're going to get married?
Yeah.
What's in the plan so you have her after marriage?
Well, we trade a fishing in. And if we can get me trade, we go on work. Everything will go between me and her. We feel nice, feel good. Live loving, we don't know. So well, sometimes we have to do up with the argument. So you go. Just bring your mind to it.
All right, talk to me about your honeymoon. What's on the plans you have for your honeymoon? Where are you going for honeymoon?
I don't plan the honeymoon, you know. Anything my boss say come you go, no, not corner around it, so me ready. Because me know nothing around the corner, no bad abuse van with. So anything you say, that may qualify it.
Miss Rena, what kind of honeymoon you don't want to have? We don't want to for your honeymoon night.
Well, I don't know. The wedding church is when the honeymoon hotel or somewhere we go.
You see your wedding dress already? You tried it on already?
No.
So you're going to try it on closer to your wedding day?
Yes.
The last time, Saturday, you told me you definitely want a beach wedding. And you get it. Why the beach? Is it because you're a fisherman and you love?
Yeah.
You're going to have a bachelor party where the night before you.
Well, anything the boss say, you know, that they say, you know.
Or is it anything no one say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you say no party, no party. If you say no wedding, no wedding.
I can't turn down the wedding. Come here, go see him.
All right. Okay. So, all right, Miss Serena, I know you it's fiery and so forth. Talk to me. You have your little sexy laundry ready for the night? Your little sexy nighty?
Yes, I have it. We have it put on, ready. I said we can just take it up.
Do your thing. And size up, you realize she's almost 15 years older than you. Does it make a difference?
Oh, well, we never check on the years, we never busy about the years at that time. We busy about the levity that we were. So, me was younger than him, I would have feel about me. You see? As well as me, I feel about him. So,
I'm going to ask you the question where everybody are going to ask. At 85, or is it 6?
Well, we don't want anyone to help me. We can just.
Yeah, man, tell me, what is it 6?
6, all right. We take it. We can.
Yes, you can find love at any age, any age. Yeah, don't give up. She's 85. She's 85.
She didn't look 85, to be fair.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I just came across that. That was one of them report there from the Star.
Mm.
And, you know, and I thought, oh, that's nice. That's nice. But they just anyhow. I thought I'd just share that one with us. Yeah, on the back end of the ancestral voices, So never give up. You never know. And he was never been married, single man, ready for it. So never give up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just turn down this thing because it's going to get a little bit of a.
So if I think about the ancestral voices and what the brother said in of whatever you earn, live below your means, and then take the excess and invest. Thinking about, and he spoke about different areas of investment, but it's that thought process, live beyond your means. Now, I know I heard a conversation, or someone asked me yesterday, how is it that those who aren't working have it, and those who are working always bars to them not have it? I see this clip, I would have pointed her to this clip. It's not that you're barling that you don't have it. Well, you are barling that you don't have it. It's you're living within your means, making conscious effort. And what people tend to do is those who don't have it are the ones that's driving a nice car, are wearing the jewelry. Their wardrobe is them. I might have to move. Is that disturbing? Their wardrobe, what they're wearing, and what's in their wardrobe or in their jewelry box, that equates to their worth. And I was not able to listen to the end of the conversations we was having with the brother earlier, because my cousin let me know that his auntie, my mother's cousin, had passed, transitioned in a few days.
Sorry, bro. Sorry to hear that one.
We were just talking about family, and now she's not even cold. Well, she's cold, but everyone's like, he's been asked to pass messages on, and or people are asking, let me have the keys for the yard so I can go in there and I can get A, B, and C. And you're thinking, but why do you want the keys for the yard? So they're on that mindset that says, well, dead left. What's it for me? Rather than, hang on a minute, when she was alive and she needed you to stop by because she was an elder, getting young one day, and she needed you. Were you the person that her needs? But now all of a sudden she dead and she dead left, and you want to lay your claim, sitting that you never put down. So we were just having that conversation. He says he's not passing on any messages. He's not going to be the go-between. He's just waiting for the formalities to be understood, and then play his part, because he knows what his part is. But he's not getting in the sussel. He's saying someone needs to go down there. He's not getting.
Don't get mixed up in it. No.
And why do we wait until we get to a point whereby we're arguing over the dead left? Why don't we do something for the Samadhi when he's alive? Why is it that those who are...
we were talking about earlier, isn't it? That's what we was talking about earlier.
Exactly. Why don't we do something for individuals, for our family and our friends and our nearest and our dearest with warm hearts? And why is it then that, and it comes back to what the ancestral voices were saying, we're spending above our means. Just because you earn $100 or you earn 20,000 over a year, or you earn 1,000 a month, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to spend 1,001 or even 999.9 and leave yourself with a cent or a penny. Live beyond your live under your means, and then invest and use that other money, because technically we talk about 10, 10, 10, 70. You should be able to live on 70%. The way the brother was talking, he's actually saying live even less than that, on 50%.
50%.
And then with the other 50%, then you do something tangible with it. Some of that's going to go for investment. Some of that may go in terms of donations, and some of that may go down for the emergency fund, because life happens. The car broke down, boiler broke down. You don't really want it to be breaking down this time of year when it's cold in the UK. But you need to be able to manage those life experiences, because it will happen. But it's just that thought process in terms of, how do you manage your money? How do you manage your wealth? And working for someone else isn't going to manage your wealth. It's going to make you tired. But working for someone else won't manage your wealth.
Not true, that one.
And as much you played the clip there with the brother saying, so what's he going to do? So he's there still fishing. So is he fishing because he loves fishing, or is he fishing because that's the only way to sustain the family?
That's right.
Now, his new impending bride. Now, if it's because he has to do it to eat, again, the question is, what was he doing when he was a young, free and single man of how many years? Are we setting ourselves up for a hard, youthful life, or are we setting ourselves up for success?
Well, this is it. This is what we have to really thing, and you never know what's going to lick you down. I'm going to tell you that.
Life says that something's going to lick you.
I will tell you that now. You never know what's going to lick you down. You know. So,
because we all know that life is a journey. We all know something's going to lick us. So we need to be prepared. We need to put aside the money, or we have to have that mentality that we're not spending everything that we earn. Because realization is that as life licks you left, right, and center, it's going to say, did you not hear me? I already told you that you need to do A, B, or C, but you wasn't listening. So I'm going to give it to you again, and let's see whether or not you're paying attention this time. Oh, you're still not paying attention. Okay, I'm going to give it to you a third time. And I'm going to keep giving it to you because, hey, I know how long your life is. And I know what is in store for you if you listen. And some of us, our ears are hard. We'll put our hand in the fire again and again and again, and we'll get burnt and we'll have the scars. And we use it as a means of celebration to say, yeah, I've come through that. But what are you doing? What did you learn?
So true. So true. So true. And yeah, I've got a caller on the line. Let me just bring the caller in. Greetings, caller.
Yes, good afternoon. It's Adam.
Oh, how you doing, brother Adam? How you doing?
Fine, excellent. Yeah, just thought I'd give a call. Are you doing anything on the show today about the anniversary?
About the anniversary, I'm looking for. I actually had the service that they're having down in St. Andrews, which is a local place to us, right? And but the time that I had it, they had just finished the service, the live service on it, right? So I'm looking for something else that I can do, but with not the usual things that we've had over the years, but something fresh, you know.
Right. So okay, I mean, is there going to be any talk about it on your show today?
We can go into that subject. Yes, we can as well, right? But okay.
Can I say, Brother Adam, what do you want to say? What do you want to bring to the table whilst you're here and you're on? What do you want to say?
Okay. Have you and I met before, madam?
Sorry?
Have you and I met before?
I don't recognize your voice, so there's a possibility we may not have directly.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Right. Fine. Yes. Yes. Well, essentially, I was just saying that, because it's the anniversary today. I was wondering whether there was going to be any discussion about it. I just thought, well, we have to make sure that we keep this thing up in our people's minds. I'm not too sure if you're aware that, last year I released a record and set up a project as well to try to tackle the situation in our community. It hasn't really been that well received, to be honest. And, I just thought, even though, of course, it wasn't that well received, it doesn't mean to say that, we're supposed to just ignore it or forget about it entirely.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brother Adam, you speak to say everyone who's listening will know. So there may be some youngers who don't know. There may be some first-time listeners. Just, you said anniversary of which major event that affected the Black community?
The New Cross Fire.
Yeah.
I know, but I need him to speak about it, just for those who don't know.
Yeah, yes, that's right. So that's what I was saying, is there going to be any discussion on this show today about it? Because, of course, it's this one day that, it happened on, and, we need to make sure that it's remembered. And yes, of course, you're right. Some of the younger people, or even some of the older people, might not know anything about it. But, the fact that, 13 Africans were murdered, in my opinion anyway, I know some people will say it was an inside job. And after watching some of the foolishness that they had on television to try to justify that, I totally disagree with it. I believe it was murder. 13 Africans died. A further African died years later as a result of the stress and terror and horror of it being in his mind of, going through this. And so with the fact of the matter is that those Africans died, and nobody was ever brought to justice for it. And I said in the past that I believe that this is the worst atrocity that we've ever had happen to our people in England in this wave anyway. And so I've been somebody who last year said, well, you know what, let's try and get the singers together, the musicians, the songwriters, the producers, those people out there that say they do that type of thing. And I said, you know, can we let's write an album, let's do a concept album about this, and then, you know, with the album we can sell it, and then the proceeds can be used towards providing some kind of talk support service. I call it a personal support service, to start helping our people overcome the challenges that they're going through, by at least getting them the chance to talk first, and then we can start planning how we can move forward. And I spent a whole year trying to get this concept album going, and nobody came. So after, you know, speaking about it persistently for a whole year, nobody came with any songs or anything, you know, that could be used. And kind of got to the stage where I thought to myself, well, you know, we're in the last couple of months or so, I said, maybe I should just pack it in and leave it. And then I said, and then, you know, I shook my head a little bit, and you heard all the balls and nuts and bolts clanging together. And then I says, no, don't leave it. You know, you try and do something. So I just carried on with my goal, and said, right, if nobody else wants to write a song to recognize our ancestors, our murdered ancestors, our slain ancestors, I said, well, I'll do it myself. And so I wrote the song and recorded the song. And then I also created a project called Phenomenon. And that project was supposed to be used so that our people can have somebody to talk to if they're in a situation like where it might be desperate, just to have somebody to speak to. I wholeheartedly believe that, you know, those people in our community who've got some, I believe in charity, okay? So I believe that, like, those people in our community who's got certain skills or certain abilities when it comes to talking to people or helping people relieve, you know, any kind of like grief that they might have, I just want to give a portion of the time. I'm not saying all of your time, give a little bit of your time to the betterment of the community. And once again, nobody came. So, you know, and what I was hearing was that, well, if we're not going to get paid, then we're not going to do it. So as somebody who believes that, you know, charity is important, I think that, like, you know, we need to be able to start saying, with our skills, ability, time, even our wealth, if we gave a portion back to the community for the betterment of the community, I think we'd be miles away now. I think we'd be miles ahead now, but it depends on whether people want to do it or not. And I guess that's interesting. It links into the topic of the what the young man was saying in the clip earlier on. You know, what do we do with our money? When we get our money, what do we do? Do we use our money to do something positive, or are we using our money to just essentially continue to live our vices that we've become enslaved to?
I'm hearing what you're saying, because I'm very aware of the work that you put into the project in that way there, you know, and obviously, you know, we did what we could from this aspect, this side of it, you know, but you know, for whatever reason, it just never hit the right tone out there to get people motivated in that way. And it's not to put your works down. It's just that, you know, it's just how it lands with some people, you know.
Yes, I mean, somebody was saying to me, well, maybe perhaps one of the reasons nobody came forward with anything was because they don't personally like me. I mean, I do know that there were some of the people in Galaxy who said that they would never play the song and they'd never support the project either. And what I thought was interesting was that one of the people who did say that was, you know, I think it was a day later or a couple of days later, they were saying we need to get some kind of a project together to help Black people have counselling or have some kind of a talking support that's going to help them. But yet they were the person who said that they were the ones who said to me, I will never play your song and I'll never support your project either. So yeah, I don't. I mean, I've got to laugh because I just think to myself, you know, how could something like that be said after we had the opportunity to do something and then just run the opportunity and dismiss the opportunity and then later on say, oh, we need something like that in the community. So the whole thing just sounds to me as if it's like, you know, you just have to say to yourself, you know, what on earth is really going on? What the hell's going on?
It can seem to be very frustrating. This is one of the things. This is one of the things that I've learned over the period of time. Yeah, that we may be the initiators of a lot of projects and a lot of ideas, but we may not be the person that carries it through. Right? Even though although our desires and our visions of how we would like to see it being fulfilled is there, and it is strong, and it's a very positive way of how looking on it. But it doesn't mean that you are going to be the person who's actually going to make that happen, right? Your thing probably is just to get the message out there, just to start the impetus, right? The lesson that I learned when I was doing some of these type of things, right, is to learn to let go, right? And the reason why is because it doesn't give you room to develop your next project, right? Or it will always be a little bit of an anchor to say, oh, well, how I was treated on doing that one, I don't think I'll be doing that again, right? Because remember that there's been many an inventor, many an entrepreneur, right, who have tried 100 times, but the one time that works is the one that we always know about, right? But there's a load of other projects that have probably failed and never even started, right? So
Yeah, but when you say let go, what do you mean let go?
Right. What I mean is that like when if I put it in a very, very crude manner, right? You have a child, and you raise that child, right? And then you say to that child, look, this is the way how you should be thinking. This is the way how your life should be, right? That child grows up into that teenager, and then all of a sudden, that child has a impetus for itself, right? And then it gets into that adult stage, and then it goes off and it does its own life, right? The thing is that that there are some parents, right, that will always treat that person like a child, right? But there are those who will allow them to be their own entity. Yeah. This is what we're saying is that, you know what, that is your child, yes, but it's also its own entity out there. So therefore, allow it to grow in its own way. Yeah.
Right, but there's a difference though between that. The child is an actual human being. They can move, they can think, they can do things, they can speak. But when it comes down to an initiative, an initiative is just an idea in your head or on a piece of paper.
Right,
but if you let that go, then who's going to pick it up?
Wait a minute. If you share that with others, if you share that impetus or that idea with others, they may take it and develop it and use it towards what they need. Yeah. And then what I would say is that you would probably say, oh, but that was my idea. And they would look at you and say, well, no, it's our idea because we're doing it how we want to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but with me, I mean, I think I've heard that kind of proposal before or perspective before, but I disagree with it. I think that, like, if you've got an idea, you're supposed to see it through to the very end. Because I believe that that's part and parcel of the success of a goal-orientated mindset. When you set your goal, you're supposed to set the goal and you reach that goal no matter what. You don't give up. And I think
I hear what you're saying, and in all honesty, I used to feel like that as well. But then I was shown this other way of, you know what, that might be your project that you started, you initiated, right? Hand it over to somebody else to do. And
what? Who though?
Huh? It's like people who's probably been helping you with that project along the way. right? For instance, you mentioned just now that there's a person that said to you they wouldn't work with you, right? And then
Right.
they initiated the same said project, but under their umbrella, right?
No, I never said that.
What did you just say?
I never said that.
What did you just say? What did you say?
It sounds like you got some budgerigars in there.
Yeah, that's from Jamaica. They're trying.
Right, okay.
They're trying to get into our project. Yeah, you see, they're trying to take our initiative. Go ahead, brother Adam. Go ahead.
Yeah. I know. I never said that somebody else was there. What I said is nobody else was there, and I said that nobody made any effort to help any concrete effort to put something forward to say, look, Adam, here's a song that I've written. Here's a song that I've recorded.
Yeah.
Put this towards the compilation album. And I tell you what, rather than me just giving it to you, I want to come and be actively involved in trying to make the album work as well. Because that's what I see. I find that you'll find there's people who will see somebody start it and then they'll just say, okay, here's my little what I want to put through it. Here's my contribution. Okay, bye-bye. And you never hear from them again. And then they'll then say, right, well, at least I did something. But I just think to myself, well, so all that's doing is just piling work up on other people to do without, again, putting in a portion of their time to try to help the betterment of the community. So, when you're saying something like that, as far as I'm aware, I couldn't see anybody at all who I could say, okay, you know what, you take this on, I'm going to leave it now. Because the next question then after that is, well, okay, well, now that you've left it, what are you going to do now? What are you doing now? And so they're going to have to find another initiative to take on. And then, of course, that then leads to yet another question. Well, now you started another initiative. How do we know you're not going to just pack that one in? And why did you pack in the last one if you were so? It's not
a case of that you are packing it in, right? You are allowing it to develop it into what it needs to develop. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's only if you've got people there who you can rely upon to do things. And I put it to you that in our community, there's very few people who you can truly rely upon. And I'm saying this through time has taught me this. One whole year of consistent and repeated effort has shown me that there's very few people in our community who you can rely upon, who you can say, brother, sister, this is the goal. This is what we're working towards. And then they basically are there with you right from the start all the way to the end to say, yes, we're going to take it all the way through. There's very few people. MX, God bless that brother and his family. I know DJ MX, or just MX, sorry. He was there with this initiative, and he came forward and he threw down, right? And then he was good, and Kwame as well. He also put in something as well, and he was there, somebody who was doing something. But when it comes down to this, I think that there's very, very few people who I could rely upon and say, right, brother, sister, you take it, and I'm going to start doing something else, but you make sure you run with that. Very few people.
I hear you. Yeah. I know. I hear you on that one.
So what does the sister think then?
Oh, Sister Sandra?
So my thought process is just because you've been speaking about it for a whole year or 2 years, 3 years, and you've not had any traction as you perceive it, doesn't necessarily mean A, it's not landing, and B, there's nothing to say the traction won't happen if you keep digging, if you keep putting it out there. It's the making that right connection, so that from an energy and from a vibrational point of view, the people that you need, or you may think would support you more so, there's an element of additional conversations to be had, and being comfortable with having those additional conversations and not thinking that the conversations you've had so far, A, have fallen on deaf ears, or B, no one cares, or C, it's just me. You are effectively digging for gold. Like you say, you don't want to walk away. You're putting a message out there that can help and support others, because the bigger picture isn't the album. The bigger picture isn't you. The bigger picture isn't the time of the event. The bigger picture is how are we going to support the survivors and those within our community who have been and are still traumatized by that event and or similar events. So I agree with you in terms of keep putting it out there in terms of individuals who have the knowledge and skills and saying, I need help, I need support. And those who have the knowledge and skills may be giving their time freely to other things. So you're thinking, why aren't you helping me? But they're already given their 8 hours or 16 hours, 3 hours or whatever to something else. B, your passion and my passion may be two different things. I respect your passion, Alex. Ask that you respect my passion, but I'm not going to jump on and support you, not because I don't like what you're doing, I don't hear what you're doing, I don't respect what you're doing, but it's not my passion. So please don't beat me with a stick because it's not my passion. And then C, the other thing is you may get individuals, as you continue to talk about it and you continue to dig and put it out there, you will get individuals who are happy to give up their time, their talent, and their treasure in order to support you, because they also see the value in what you are doing. So that's my thoughts in relation to what you said. I would say sometimes it's frustrating when you're the genius in the house because you think, why can't others see it? But you still need to keep shining to give others the opportunity to. It's that movie, you build, they will come. So keep building, keep talking, keep having the conversations.
Yes, of course. Well, I know that with on Galaxy, a lot of things have been said in the past about having some kind of a personal support service or talk support service. So it's not as if I didn't come up with the idea. I just tried to come up with a part of the solution. So no doubt they'll still be talking about it throughout this year sometime and in years to come. I feel that with regards to the recording, the single that I did, I feel that I've achieved my goal with that. If an album comes, then you never know. Just like Aston was saying, maybe somebody else one day will say, well, I tell you what, I'm going to take on doing an album of a concept album to recognize our slain ancestors. You never know, somebody else might come up with it. And then I might, they might say, oh, Adam, weren't you trying to do something like this years ago? And I say, yeah. And I say, okay, well, do you want to be, and they say, do you want to be involved? You never know, it might happen. It may not happen either. But I think I've achieved my goal with regards to some kind of a recording to, commemorate our ancestors who were murdered on this day, 1981, in, of course, London. So, and of course, with the talks, the personal support service, it's an ongoing thing. It's hopefully one day we'll be able to say, right, you know what, we need to have some kind of a service where when we go through all of these difficulties that's linked to anti-Africanism in all 10 areas of people activity, maybe one day we'll say, well, you know what, let's try to have a project and support the project to do it. I know that there's other projects around up and down the place that we're trying to do something, and that's great. But I don't think that having one more would be necessarily disadvantageous. I think it would just be more sauce for the goose. Of course, helping us to overcome these challenges that we're going through in this country.
So on what you just said, I would say there's never too much, because our needs are varied and our locations are wide. So there's never too much in terms of the project and the support for our community and the work that we can be doing within our community.
That's right, yes. And so I hope that, like, you know, maybe you never know, one day something might happen. I mean, because I've moved on to something else slightly now, because I kind of think that I've been looking into this whole thing about us as a community, and know that you've heard of that chap called Abraham Maslow and Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Uh-huh.
I know you know about that, and I think that we've kind of like missed out on something, and I think I'm gonna be starting to look to develop that thing that I think we've missed out on, because like if you look at the top of his pyramid, and and again I'm sure that like he gained this from Africans, because he's actually used the pyramid as a means to actually lay out.
That was the trend. That was the trend of all of their metaphysics within that time, anyhow.
Right. Okay, then. So I'm sure he must have got this through African insights and knowledge. But anyway, he basically said that at the top of the pyramid is something called self-actualization. And I think to myself that I think that we are trying to get our people to self-actualize when there's certain rungs of the ladder or certain parts of the pyramid beneath self-actualization that hasn't been covered. And I think that that's why one of the reasons why perhaps we're struggling so much to try to get our people to elevate themselves up to the position where they're supposed to be, but they can't get there, because the only way that you can get up from one level to the next is when you've completed that level beneath, or completed the levels beneath. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but with all the information we're giving to our people, that's all based upon and linked to self-actualization.
Yes.
But I put it to you that some of the other levels have not been completed, and that's why we're not really managing to self-actualize. Right.
If I give you my piece on that, right? One of the things we have to realize also, right? Unfortunately, we have a structureless development of our presence within society and within life itself, especially if we're living within this system, right? We are not nurtured and encouraged to actually be ourselves, right? Even when you see these young people that they come to an age and they said, "Oh, go off and discover yourself. Go and do a year what do you call it? Backpacking and things like this, to go and find yourself." Right? We would unfortunately to say, right? No, actually, fortunately to say, we had a structure, right? And this is through like studies that I have seen, and as you know, that the development of the African societies have been a thing that has been a very stronghold for a very long time, right? We have been so disconnected from our source of development and communication. We have lost our way in that aspect there, right?
Yeah.
We can't do the designer pick and choose. We have to build it in stages. Right? And in us building it in stages, that is when we come to the utopia of who we are and where we're supposed to be. Right? Unfortunately, and then again, on the other side of that, once we get to that pinnacle of being who we are, where can we actually manifest that? Where in the world can we go to manifest it?
You can do it wherever you want to do it. You don't have to be in one particular place to do it. Self-actualization is something that is within you. Yes. So therefore, self-actualization is not like a collective endeavor. You self-actualize. So that's what self means. Self means I, me, myself. So therefore, there isn't anything stopping you from self-actualizing. You can self-actualize tomorrow if you know the process.
All right,
if you know what you need to do.
Let me hear what Sister Sandra have to say about that.
I agree with you, and I think the same lines as you, Brother Adam. If we're using Maslow, and I don't know whether or not our listeners are familiar with Maslow, so he has a hierarchy of needs. And just looking at the hierarchy of needs, it starts with safety, security, and survival. It then moves up to love and acceptance, forgiveness, consciousness, and grace, purpose and joy, self-actualization is the top of the pinnacle when you're thinking about it as a triangle. So unless we have the foundation and we're comfortable in our skin within that foundation, so that means we have that safety, we feel safe, we have that security, we feel secure in ourselves. And as we feel secure in ourselves, we can look out and we can see that security within our people as we walk up and down, as we do our day to day. We feel that love within ourselves. And as we speak to our brothers and our sisters, we speak to them with love. We think about love as a response before our head or our mouth puts in the action and says something which is demeaning or disgraceful or unhelpful. So I agree with you, Brother Adam, that you need to, I'm recognizing if we're using Maslow as an example, you do need to have the foundation in place in order to achieve that self-actualization. And I also agree with you that self-actualization is within. So a lot of what you have, if you've not got it internally, you're going to seek outside and you're not going to find it. And once you've got it, you've got it. That's like that proverbial gold mine. That's that Aladdin's lamp. You are the lamp. Do you have what's inside of you? Is it able to come out? And within that, you can be anywhere. You could be in the Africas, you could be in the Caribbeans, you could be in the Europes, you could be in the Central, Southern Americas. It doesn't matter. If you've got space
on the moon.
Yeah, you've got
Okay.
it.
I hear what you're saying. I'm hear what you're saying. So let me get this right from both of your perspective. You can develop that within yourself.
You need to for me, you need to develop within yourself first, because if you don't get it within yourself.
Okay. Do you agree with that one part there, Adam?
Yeah, because I mean, the sisters obviously got up the hierarchy of needs in front of her. I don't know whether you've got it up in your computer there, but yeah, from the bottom, physiological safety need, and then the next one is safety needs, and the next one is love and belonging.
Okay.
Next one is food, and the top one is self-actualization.
Right.
And what Maslow is suggesting is that you can't, for example, have with your safety needs. You're not going to be concerned about being safe if your physiological needs haven't been met. And the next one is you're not going to be concerned about love and belonging if your safety needs haven't been met. And you're not going to be concerned about your esteem needs if your love and belonging needs haven't been met. And then finally, you're not going to care about self-actualization if your esteem, love and belonging, safety needs and physiological needs haven't been met.
Okay. Hold on. Pause there. Right. You pointed out all of those needs that are not being met. Right. Now, as I stated prior to what you're just saying, right? I said, where can you go in this world and all of those needs are met?
And I come back to you need to start with self.
No, you've done that. You've done that element of like, you've done the thing of that you are prepared to do what you need to do, put yourself into the mindset of, right, I will be satisfied if this is happening. But where in the world can that be reciprocated back to you?
So then, and this is in my humble opinion. So last strong, I was looking at, as part of my development, looking at that thing called kindness. And there's a group of us that across different parts of the world that was looking at that thing called kindness. When you see it, when you think about it, you start to see it. You see other people exhibiting it, you can exhibit yourself. So there's an element of, you can, within that Maslow, you can be in your own space where you are sitting now. Depending on how you are thinking and how you are acting, all of those things, the universe will attract it to you. You're just not noticing it. So that's why, from a self-actualization point of view, once you've...
I agree with you. I agree with you with the self-actualization, i.e., you know what, I'm good.
But you don't need to be. But then the conversation.
Wait a minute.
With others.
All I'm asking is that if you're good where you are, right? Where, and I say this, could you pinpoint somewhere around this world where I could go, be good where I am, and I know that I'm going to be receiving that 100%.
So my question to you, carry on, Brother Adam.
Yeah, because all right. So I don't know if you managed to get the image in front of you as yet, Aston. But this whole thing about going to one part of the world where it's like some kind of a Afro utopia, or some place which is which is everything is perfect, is again is wishful thinking. Because looking at the bottom of the pyramid, physiological needs, we can say that we've got air. We can say that we've got water. Here with us living here in England now, all right, there's food, we've got shelter. A lot of us live in houses or live somewhere where there's a roof over our head. We can sleep. Yeah, we've got bed where we can sleep. We've got clothes on our back, and reproduction, if it comes down to that, some of us who are married or whatever can go through reproduction, right? So those physiological needs, a lot of those are already in place for us here. So when it comes down to going on to the next level, which is safety needs, we won't have a problem with that. Why? Because our physiological needs are pretty much in place. So when we look at safety needs, personal security, do we feel safe in the areas where we live or where we go to? You might say, yeah, I feel all right. Then another one is employment. Do you feel that you've got some kind of income coming in through some form of employment? You might say, yeah, I'm all right with that. And then look at resources, health and property. Is my health okay? You might say, yeah, the place where I live is okay too. And resources, I've got, things like fridge, cooker, TV, all those kind of things. You might say, okay, fine then, right. So now you say, I can go on to the next stage, love and belonging. And then you go on to the next stage after that, esteem, and then the next stage or the final stage is self-actualization. So you don't necessarily need to go to one part of the planet Earth to say, if I can't find it there, then it doesn't exist, or the whole thing doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah? I'm gonna tell you now.
Now.
Okay then. Right. I'm hearing both of you, and I'm accepting both of you what you have said, right? To actually develop yourself and be in that receptive mode and everything else. Do you not understand that you are providing yourself or making yourself into an environment, right? Within an environment that is not necessarily in cohesion with you, right? So therefore, right, even within this system, right, for us being who we are, right, we are already in a negative conjecture against the system, right? Because even if we surpass in one level, for it could be, say, education, we will never be accepted at that level, right? Or even acknowledged in some cases at that level of education standard. Because why? Because of their perception of who we are and what they are already thinking of us. So if it was the other way around, if it was in that utopia type of environment, the development of all of us would be so much more powerful, higher, right? But as it stands at the moment, we can do the work for ourselves, right? Which many of us have done, right? Hence, that's why there's a lot of us who are walking around with a smile on our face, right? And less wrinkles. But there's also those out there who have done the work, right? But they realize that even if they do the work, the environment is not allowing them to really manifest what they want and what they need to be. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, and that links to the hierarchy of needs. How, if you could just say that, in a nutshell, then.
Yeah.
If you can just say how does it link to the hierarchy of needs? What you just said.
The thing is that if a lot of this to me is the development of different behavioral patterns or faculties, right? And once you break down all of our faculties and all the elements within those faculties, you can be that higher operating person, right? If you want to go into the spiritual element, it could be the higher spiritual as well, right? Your abilities could be enhanced, right? In other words, like some people, they have this premonition ability, right? Which most children do. Most children have this premonition ability. They say that it's a journey, and they say that it's you lived a past life and then you reincarnated. Some kind of association, but it's an ability, right? There's some people who can go into a place and they're very sensitive to the vibrations. What it is just it's the vibration of everybody combining in there, and then they may have positive, negative feelings towards how you feel in an environment, right? We could walk into one room and then walk to another room and feel those vibrations, right? Those are our abilities, right? So imagine now if we were able to enhance those abilities to the maximum, right? And I'm going to tell you now, there are some people who do that and have done that, and when they go from one environment to another environment, it has that physical impact on them that it makes them really ill, right? It does make them ill. And then you think, well, what's the matter with you? And then you go, oh, you know what? I've got this headache right now. I just need to just sit down. I just need a quiet, dark room and everything else. And it literally could be like the electronic magnetic forces of just what we have conditioned ourselves to be normal or to ignore, right? But their senses are so attuned that it really disturbs them. You understand? And this is the type of thing, is that if you look that in relationship to what you're saying there with the I forgot the name. Laszlo effect, right? If you develop yourself to such a high level of self-awareness, I'm going to call it, right? When you put yourself in a different environment, i.e., different places around this planet here, it's not everything is going to be right for you. You understand?
So then if it's not right for you, so what tends to happen is as you move up and your frequency moves, you'll either move into the frequency with others, others will join you where you are. They will join you. It becomes a collective frequency change. So you can do it exactly where you are. You don't necessarily have to run or find. Some of the challenges, if you use education and say that you get to the top of the education ladder and you're still being
held down.
Yeah. Necessarily mean you then fold up your arms and say, sure, I'm not going to bother any longer. You just recognize that you're on a different frequency than others.
Then you move.
So you may not move. You may just not necessarily be in their presence. You may stay exactly where you are, but you just don't go in their presence. But what you do find is that others who think like you will then start to gravitate towards you, or you find another tribe and or community. Tribes and communities, we find it easier now on the technology than we did in the past. I don't physically have to go to Africa's in order to find a tribe or a tribe, like-minded tribe. I can find it on the internet.
The net.
Not necessarily the best, but it may be just an option.
Okay. Now you're on my book. Now you understand. There you go. See, eventually you got there. I had to drag you through that door.
No, I don't think I have to move. Sorry, brother Adam, I've cut you out of this.
Yeah, I still think that, like, when it comes down to this hierarchy of needs, I think we've probably gone off on a tangent somewhere. Because what I was initially saying was that, like, I believe that the quote unquote consciousness work that so many of us have been doing for decades is stumbling or is having difficulties, because consciousness raising or re-Africanization is what I believe to be self-actualization. When we have reached, that kind of knowledge, when we're very kind of interested in that type of lifestyle, the African lifestyle, I class that as being self-actualization. But what I'm saying is that, like, I still think that we've missed out on certain other levels of the pyramid, but we're still trying to get our people to self-actualize. So maybe we need to start looking. No, not even maybe we need to. We have to start looking at some of the lower levels of this pyramid, and then start asking ourselves the question: do our people have their physiological needs met? Because if they don't, then they're not going to be interested in their safety needs. Do they have their love and belonging needs met? Because if they don't, they're not going to be interested in their esteem needs. If they haven't got their esteem needs met, then they're certainly not going to be interested in self-actualization. And we're trying to get our people to self-actualize. And I think that, like, those other lower levels of the pyramid have not been met with significant numbers of our people. So maybe so we have to start there first. We can't just jump from the bottom and run straight to the top, or just arrive at the top by some kind of magic. It's not going to work.
No, and I agree with you in that respect. In order for us as individuals, if we're going to say it's that image of you're at the top of the pyramid and you want others to join you, you have to ensure then that they are in a space where they feel comfortable with their safety needs. They feel safety with their physiological needs. Before you can, because they're not going to hear you. They're going to just look at you as if to say, "Whoa, who are you? You seem to have it all together." And because they're still in their space and they're still worried about the heating, they're still worried about the housing, they're still worried about the money, they're still worried about all these things. Food. They just won't. They can't.
They won't hear.
No.
You bang on, sister. They won't be able to reach that stage mentally, because they'll be saying, look, it's okay for you to be talking about Garvey. It's all right for you to be talking about re-Africanization, etc. And, how we must strive towards economic empowerment. They'll say, that's great for you to talk about it. But what am I going to eat tonight? I need water. So you're talking about something that's a million trillion miles away from me at the minute, my friend. They'll say, I haven't even got anywhere to sleep tonight.
But then I
honestly believe that, like, our intention is good, that we want to be giving our community information about how to self-actualize and re-Africanize themselves. But if those physiological safety, love and belonging and esteem needs are not there, they won't hear us. They won't be able to hear what we're saying, because they've got bigger fish to fry.
I would like to ask you a question, Brother Adam.
Go ahead.
All of the, like, as you're stating, re-Africanization and awareness. I'm going to call it awareness, self-awareness, education that we're doing for ourselves, right? Or participating in. I wouldn't say doing for ourselves, participating in. I would say, no. Let me ask the question. Do you feel that even if we acquire or attain all the information that we need from from the information that is available to us, do you think it's going to be adequate for us to be enough for us to be equipped for our next level of development?
Well, it depends on where the person is on the pyramid. So I mean, like, have they got the physiological needs met to at least a plateau where they're satisfied? But if the answer is no, then they're not going to be concerned about any other level of the pyramid above it. Yeah. Have you got the information in front of you of what the pyramid is? Because if you haven't got it in front of you, you're going to be struggling to see what's.
I'm aware. I'm very aware of it. I'm very aware of it, because the thing is that my thinking is beyond what it presents there, right? Mainly my thinking is already achieved and living within the manifestations of all of those levels, right? In one.
You are personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, no,
so hold on. Wait a minute, please. And the reason why I say that, right, is because when you work at all of the things that you have to work at, and you are first of all made aware, then put into practice, right, and then push them to a level of making things happen, right? And when you are in that type of level of actualization, you know that this level here, right, is not the level that we're supposed to be at anyway, right? So this is why I ask you, right, with all the knowledge that is available to us, right, do you think that it is adequate enough for us to move to the next level?
Yeah, and that's what I said. It depends on what level of the pyramid the person is at.
Mm-hmm.
So if their physiological needs are not met, then they're not going to be interested in any other level above that.
Mm.
So that's what I'm saying. When you look at the diagram, but I mean, as you say, you're quite aware of what the hierarchy of needs is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm what I'm saying is that you personally as Aston, you may have said, well, okay, physiological needs. You might say, yeah, I'm okay with that. I've got air, I've got water, I've got food, I've got shelter, I can sleep, I've got clothes, I can reproduce if I want. You can say, yeah, okay, well, I'm pretty satisfied with that level I'm at. So let's look at the next level. My safety needs. Do I feel personally secure? You might say, yeah, nobody's going to tangle ass with me. All right. You might say, employment-wise, yeah, I'm okay, got resources, healthy. Yeah, okay, fine. Then you say, right, move on to the next level. And then the next level, and the next level. So you as an individual can do that. But what I'm saying is that, those of us who are in the conscious community who's trying to help our people to reach that same level there, do we understand the lower levels of the pyramid that they might not have actually been able to achieve?
Mm-hmm.
So, and if we don't understand that, I think that we're going to be, trying to get our people to reach a stage which they just haven't got the capacity to reach at that time.
Right. I have to choose my words. I have to choose my words from this point on forward now, because I don't want to sound like I'm putting you in a disparaging manner or in a disparaging way, right? And although I may say something that may sound like that, right? But it's not. It's all said with good intentions. Yeah.
Yeah, talk you through.
Right. Let me tell you something else, my brother. When you achieve and are aware of certain levels, just like unfortunately to say your project there, you have to let go and develop to your next level of being, right? You have to be there. There's a quote that is coming to my mind right now. Was it? I haven't come here to debate. I've come here to teach. Right? I only debate with those who are of my level. Yeah. And this is the thing. We're having a conversation here. Right? obviously, me as the show host, right? I'm trying to bring the best out of those who are participating, and Sister Sandra as well, right? We will have a discourse between us here, right? We don't agree. It doesn't mean that we agree on everything, right? We're at different levels of development, and we give acknowledgement to that as well, right? Respectfully, we give acknowledgement to that, right? And respectfully, I would say to you yourself as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thing. This is the thing. There are conversations that you can have with people at certain levels, but you don't have to be dragging everybody or everything with you into that conversation. Yeah, right. Like there's the listening and the learning and the development as well within the conversation, right? So therefore, even those things there, you should be open. You should be open to those elements as well. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well. Oh, yeah. Okay. I mean,
Okay.
I can't quite grasp what you're saying, but
Mm.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but
I don't understand it.
it just still sounds a bit vague.
Okay. Okay. Let me clarify that last piece there, because I built up to that last piece. You should listen, because sometimes in the listening, there may be some discrepancies, or there may be some different ways of hearing something, or learning about something, right? You should look to see what you can learn from that. It's not everything you're going to learn from. It's not everything. It's not everything you're going to hear. You're going to learn, right? But also in the teaching element as well, is that it should help you to develop. It should help you to develop. In other words, if we're having a discourse, you should be able to have at least 3 or 4 questions, right? Or inspire you to have 3 or 4 questions about what is being discussed, right? To further the conversation, right? To bring it forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, one should. Yeah. So we've
Right.
all had a nice discussion in relation to, the topics that I've raised this afternoon. So we've all had put forward questions, haven't we?
That to me, right, is the rolling development of what needs to be done for most of our societies, our not only our societies but our communities as well. Yeah, because in many ways, and I'm not pointing I am pointing the finger at you, but I'm just using you as an example, is that we're looking behind us a lot more than what we're actually looking ahead. Yeah. And the tangibility, the tangibility of our failure is stronger than the tangibility of our development. Right. So, in other words, the percentage of our discourse or conversation should be, in my opinion, right, for development, should be towards development, the future. Right. I mean, I've mentioned it a few times. I would love to see a 15-year-old being educated to as a standard education to a degree level. Right. And I personally do not see anything wrong with that. Yeah.
Right.
I don't see anything wrong with that. And the thing, and although we are deemed as being failures within the system, within the society, right? The lowest examination pass results is always subjected to our communities, right? But personally, I don't.
That's not entirely accurate, though, is it?
No, it's not. No, it's not. And this is why I say that we're supposed to have a curriculum that serves us, right? We're supposed to have our own examination boards. Yeah. We're supposed to have our own curriculum that serves us in developing of our society, not the support of their society or their system. Yeah?
But we can set up a curriculum anytime we want. There's nothing stopping us from setting up our curriculum now.
I know that. I know. And that is why I put out, especially like through this program, right? That is what I would love to see. Yeah, that's why I put out on this program, right? That level of like when they're the age of like 15, 16, that they should be functioning at degree level straight away there, in my opinion. Yeah.
But you know what? When it comes down to our family from the continent, you'll probably find that many of their children are already operating at that level anyway.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. So when you said earlier on about some of the lowest academic results seem to be put towards our community, that's what I'm saying. It's not particularly accurate because, like the point I've just made. But when it comes down to those young people who are classified as so-called Caribbean or Afro-Caribbean or African Caribbean or Black British or Black Brit or whatever, we find that that's where you start to see a decline in the academic success at a very, very serious level. So so as I've said on other shows before, what are our family from the continent doing that we are not doing over here as so-called Black British people? Yeah, what are they doing that gives them their children such high academic success, and what are we not doing that gives our children such challenging academic outcomes? So we need to be able to go and speak to the family from abroad and say, listen, bruh, we got a problem here, right? What are you doing in your families that's helping your children to have such great academic success, and what are we not doing? And I'm sure our family from the continent will be prepared to tell us. The question is will we be prepared to implement it?
Yeah, definitely. You see, so for me, right, as what you're stating there, even with the Maslow pyramid, right? It's the foundation, right? And if you're not initiated with the foundation of this type of thing, then you won't. Then that is a formula to failing in the first place. Yeah.
Well, because self-actualization is not going to really be happened. It's not going to happen until those lower levels of the pyramid can be addressed. And I think that's going to lead to a lot of frustration on the conscious community's behalf, and also frustration on the becoming consciousness community. They're going to feel frustrated as well.
I'm not getting the headphones back. You're going to use them.
What you say?
Okay. All right. No problem.
I got you. Oh dear. We got the full blast of that. Yeah, we had the full blast of that. Earlier. Hold on. I think we were fighting with this. Oh, you've got the control of it now, haven't you? Right, you got the control of it. Yeah. She's put herself on the mute, right? Brother Smiler, please call back. I just missed your call there on the system here. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear us okay, Sister Sandra? Can you hear us okay, Sister Sandra? Okay, then great. Right. She gives us a thumbs up so she can hear us. Right then. So what you have to say now, brother Adam?
Yeah, so I guess I'm going full circle, looking at the anniversary today. I'm hoping that we will be able to remember our murdered ancestors, and that we make sure that we remember their names, and their murderers or was never found, and that we make sure that we keep in our minds, well, look, this is something that is part of our history over here. The worst atrocity that we've faced in this country since we've been here since 1948, and let's make sure that we do our best to remember them, because if we don't, I guarantee you nobody else will, and that's a guarantee.
We know that one. Oh gosh, everybody's like this. They just want to just brush everything underneath the table. One of the things I would want to ask though, right? In your opinion, have you ever gone through a year without some kind of disaster happening to us in any of the communities, right? Because remember now, it's only in the last, I would say, 10 years that we were starting to hear about other things from other places like Manchester, like the big cities, Manchester, Birmingham, all the big cities up there, right? And that is within the UK, right? But there's always been something going on around in the UK, hasn't there?
Yeah. Yes.
Which is a shame, really. Which is a real shame. Real shame. Anyhow, what I would like to do, right, is bring in Brother Smiler.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, family. How you doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. We're in debate. We're in debate and fixing the world at the moment.
Yeah. Brother, the guy there, is he from Manchester? The guy there raised the comment there. He's actually right.
Brother Adam.
Yeah, Brother Adam raised the point there. Yeah. The question is, yeah, to bring back to the community, yeah, it's still in our face, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, end of the day, we need to go back to the old school. We are back from 1970, from the time the University came over here, from Jamaica to London. Because remember, our people them clean up for them mess, yeah. But at the same time, the amount of money what they got, they took it from whatever they were getting, and they built the community from there. Yeah, because I would from back then, I'll look at you and I'll say they already did it. So no one can tell me that we ain't getting no money. Yeah, if everybody put in all the money, split it up, it's there. I said all the sentences that they might take away from us, put the money that you're getting back into, the center. Simple as that. Look at Kwanzaa. That we had. Okay. Respect to them that who, Baba Mika them, Galaxy, loving them for that. But the thing is, you put a DJ in there, yeah? An artist. Let's the place ram out. Yeah? All that should have been ram out. Understand me?
Yeah,
so it's not the fact that we cannot do it. We can, but everyone's on this nightclub thing. Yeah, let's go raving. Place ram out. The good thing like we want to do it on fun day, can't, what I mean? At the end of the day, it's not that we cannot do it, we can.
I hear what you're saying. And it's been said many times already. I feel that our focus is let's say disjointed, right? Right? There's many who wouldn't sit down to listen to a lecture. Right, but of my generation, that was the thing. That was the thing of like going out to hear somebody who's from somewhere to come and speak about the social problems and social issues. We were literally fighting on the streets for our existence in those days. Yeah, right. But even now, right. I beg to wonder how many of our young people, and I'm talking about 25, no, 30, up to 30, what is their focus? What is their life focus, really? You know, although, you know, development of technological communication has gone beyond a lot of what a lot of us would even perceive or even participate in, right? That I'm looking at most of them, and I'm thinking, wow, where and what is your focus? Where and what is your focus? You know, and it just seems to be a continuous money orientated machine that they seem to be or appear to be focusing on, right? Maybe because that's the imagery that I get, right? But obviously, it's only when we speak directly with them that we will actually find out what is actually happening and what is happening for them, you know.
I right up to Sister Landis, and she's still there.
Sister
The
Sandra,
only
yeah.
question, the only answer I've got to that is I've been speaking to some of my people in the they're younger than me, and they come out and said to me that it's those that are born, it's in the 90s, you know, and so that our generation now, we're the ones that lost the plot. We lost it because at the end of the day, we never showed them nothing. So at the end of the day, that's why I'm saying that's the way it is now. And
you're right.
Me, I even me, I admit when at the end of the day, we're supposed to show them something, but it never got done.
You're right. You're right. We dropped the ball. We dropped the ball massively.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even know where the ball is now, to tell you the truth. We dropped that ball. Our grandparents and our parents were heroes as far as I'm concerned. You know, they were the ones who made the foundation for us, where we could have, like, you know, done so much. But you know, another thing, talking about education, I think because we were born and raised over here, those of us who were, what we found is that when we were sitting in this classroom with Kevin and Karen, and, you know, their school teacher was saying, well, like, just keep your head down. You know, you'll basically, you know, get yourself some good qualifications, get some good experience, and, you know, you'll be fine, etc., and you'll get a good job. We thought, okay, well, you know, yeah, that's fine, but we will do that then. But when we left school, Kevin and Karen went on to actually get the job. But with us, Kenroy's still sitting saying, I'm Marcia. I saying, well, hold on a moment. I was cleverer. I got better qualifications than those two, but they're the ones who got the job. And I'm still sitting in the house 1 year after I finished school or university or college, still sending out job applications. So therefore, you know, that was one of them, because we believed what the crap that we were told at school, that it was just keep your head down, get your qualifications, you'll be cool. That was all right for Kevin and Karen, but not for us.
Are you reading my resume?
The first thing we need to do is set up our own businesses. The next frontier for our young people is not just getting qualifications to go and look for a job. The next frontier for our young people is to get qualifications, learn the skill of how to do a certain thing, and then set yourself up in business. That's the next frontier. If we can't get our young people to do that, I guarantee you that there's going to be an increase in unemployment, and along with the increase with unemployment, there's going to be an increase in crime. And once the increase in crime happens, you're falling right into the trap of the police, who will arrest you, put you into the justice system. The judge will say, right, okay, yeah, okay, the crime that you committed really is only like for a year. But what we're going to do, we're going to give you 12 years. Yeah, and they're going to put you in a privatized prison as well. And in that privatized prison, you'll be there sitting down with 3 boxes in front of you. Box A with widget A, box B with widget B, and box C is empty. And then they say, right, what you do, you attach widget A to widget B and put it into empty box C. They'll show you how to do it, and then they'll basically say, okay, now you try it, and then we'll try it, and then we'll say, okay, we know how to do it, and then they'll say, right, so get on with it. You see that big crate over there? You've got the next 35 years or 12 years to get that crate, to empty those crates.
Okay,
everyone.
One of the things I would like to ask, right, and this is a little bit of a segue. I'm asking each one of you the question, right? With the events over the last few days that's happened in the House of Commons, and they've looked to push through a bill for the exportation of refugees from the Europes and from the Africas, right, to go to Rwanda, right?
Yeah.
Now, there are a load of other bills that are coming in at the same time. There are a lot of other things that are happening, right, that is undermining the financial support that many of our people have been receiving, right, to support them when they've migrated to other places. They're looking to basically cut our financial line. So pensions and things like this, you will not be able to, like, I'm talking about state pensions, you will not be able to use them if they push through these bills in international places, right? Why, wait a minute, do you see, and I'm thinking, but this is just it's just reverting back to the days of when people could just be picked up on the street and then deported to another land, right, for nothing, right, for no crime. And I feel that there's going to be a swathe. I've got this feeling there's going to be a swathe of people just disappearing. People just disappearing, and then, you know, years later we're going to find out, oh, they were brought to places like Rwanda, like some place out in the back of Australia, you know, some place in New Zealand, because those places are now struggling to just have people to have as a population, right? So, you know, can you see that there, have you noticed this underlining this depletion of support for us to actually do this self-migration? Have you noticed this at all? Anybody?
Oh, was you talking to me? Oh, sorry. I do apologize. I can say something, but I don't want to say it on air because it might, you know. But
Okay.
but
Be discreet. Be discreet. Be discreet as you can.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. It will get worse because there is another. There's something else going down. But like I said, I don't want to say it on air. But like I said, they are in a worse situation that they're in now. You have to sit back and watch what's going on because they created a problem that they can't get out of, that they cannot get out of. We have to sit back and watch what's going on. That's all I can say on that matter. But you'll see the outcome of it. Look at all this, all what they're doing now, they've got a bigger one to face. In their own backyard.
Sister Sandra?
Just say the question again, please.
Right. Do you see, or have you heard of any evidence of them cutting off the means of like financial support? My thing was pension, right? The state pension, that is, that they're restricting the exportation or you being able to use it in foreign places.
So do I see it happening?
Yeah. Have you heard it? Have you heard of anything at all?
I haven't heard it happening. I've seen some experiences of how they're tightening up and they're restricting if you are abroad in the Caribbean or the Africas, just being able to access your pension. So it's not going. So for me, when it was my mother, it couldn't go directly into the account that would come directly over here. It became so many hoops and otherwise. So it ended up going through 3 different accounts before it could get to the main account. So they're not making it easier from a pension point of view, and I'd agree with that.
Exactly. And never mind. And yeah, it's just one of those little things that you just see is going to be a barrier in the future, right? It's going to be a barrier in the future or in the near future.
So then it comes back to what you had played in terms of ancestral voices. And for me, I think that's part of the key. Wait until we get to pension before we're depending on and we're still depending on someone else, or do we have our own? We need to put ourselves in a position where we've got our own. We are independent, self-thinking adults who have created our own wealth, created the generational wealth, and we can, if the pension from whatever the government of the day is doesn't come through, we can still eat.
Absolutely. Anyhow, what I would like to do is play this little trailer, and it's something that they've released on Prime Video, right? So if you look at this, it's called The Uprising. Okay.
It was just so uplifting.
It was fun,
Colourful.
We didn't have much, but we were really happy.
One of the best parties of the year.
Mate, I was mad excited.
You had generations coming in at different times. The crowd was going, the vibes was nice, the music was right.
Just before 6 o'clock this morning, the singing and dancing gave way to panic.
Children have been burnt.
We didn't feel that Britain owned that tragedy. We did not matter.
The new Crossfire became an us and them affair.
It felt, because I was born here, I'm not wanted.
The black community cannot just stand by and allow this to happen.
People started saying, we're going to have to do something. We had the power and we were able to mobilize. It was one of the proudest moments in our lives.
This is the beginning, not the end.
A pioneering 3-part documentary, Uprising.
I'm telling you. Yes, so they've released that.
So when is that coming out? Have they just given us?
No. It's been released already.
So you can access it on Prime.
Yeah.
If you have access to Prime.
Yeah. Right. So if you got access to Prime, you can get that on Prime Video. Right. It's called The Uprising. I think I've actually seen that previously already. So, but it gives a good overview over what happened at that time and how the police were treating us as well. It was let's say it was a love me hate you type of situation right there. So and yes, there was a lot of things that was happening that we could all complain about, but some days you just don't bother. It just didn't bother. And then that one there, it just blew up big time, very big time. Yeah. I don't know. What age was you when that happened?
I wasn't going to parties at that point.
No.
That was before my time, but I've spoken to someone recently and they said that they were due to go to the party and they cried out of going, and the girlfriend at the time or their partner at the time was not happy with them on the day, not happy, saying, yeah, you're going to take me out, yada, 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 boyfriend, girlfriend thing, whatever it was supposed to be. And we often think to ourselves, that is going to be the best party. I want to go out tonight. And for whatever reason, they didn't go. And she phoned him back the next day or made contact with him and said, I'm just so happy that at the time she was spitting feathers. He didn't take me to this party, which was billed to be the best thing. He just gave thanks that he didn't go, and he gives thanks that he didn't go, and it wasn't meant to be his journey. It's meant to be others' journey, but not their journey. And I think, to be fair, all of us can say at some point in our lives, it may not have been as tragic as that, as transparent as that from a tragedy point of view, but all of us will have made decisions that may have changed the course or the direction of our journey, in so much we didn't do something, we didn't go somewhere, and the outcome for us in that instance was the right outcome for us at that moment in time.
Definitely, because like even when I look back on it, right, that morning there, that Sunday morning, I used to run from where I live, past that house, and no, I would say I ran from where I live past that house up to Greenwich Park and did my workout and come back. By the time I come back, I saw the fire brigade and everything outside there. So, but I didn't realize the extent of what had happened I didn't realize the extent of what happened at the time, right? So for me, right, it was kind of like, and then it's a few days later, realize and I'm hearing people from my school that had died in this fire, right? And I'm thinking, raw. They're my own people from my school, you know. But it's simply, you know, when you have a party like that, you know, it's usually almost an open door, really.
Yeah. Back in the day, that was parties where you'd be walking along the street and you just hear some music and you think, you know what, I've got a bottle, or I don't have a bottle, but they would greet you completely different from how it happened in this day and age. So there would have been those that would have been invited because they knew the host, and there had been those that were just there because they heard the music and heard the vibe and just wanted to be part of it.
Yeah, so you know, for me, right, it kind of hit home hard. And then obviously the ensuing fracas what was on our doorstep, because my school was literally around the corner. Literally around the corner from there.
You've seen the marches that had gone by, and you'd been
we participated in the march because where they actually started the march from was literally around the corner again from the school. You know? And like, you know, it was although it was very angry, the whole thing was a thing of that, you know, that anybody that participated in that is definitely do bear the scars of that day. Anybody who participated in that demonstration there, right? Because there was things that happened along the way that people will never forget. Like from that day, I've never bought a Sun newspaper. Never. You understand? Right? So therefore, and that was because of what I experienced outside the Sun. You understand? So therefore, nope, never again. And then that is when I think a lot of us were really awakened to our position of where we were in the political arena, right? Because even after the demonstration and everything else, they still were very reluctant to even acknowledge anything about it. Yeah. So, you know, you really got to hold these people by the throat at times to just get anything done. Which is a shame in itself by itself, anyhow. You know.
Well, I'm thinking to myself that where brothers and sisters don't have Prime, but they want to share and have a conversation, it's worth sharing where you can, so you can have that conversation. Because what we don't want, the memory to, as the next generation moves on and the generations move on, we don't want that memory to lose. We don't want to get amnesia where that event took place. It was tragic. There are things that we might, from a support, individuals who have gone through it, who are still going through it, lived through it, but get that collective consciousness. So I would say with the young people, and sometimes young people are angry, they don't necessarily know why they're angry. Our history tells us some of the reasons why we're angry. We've also got to think about how we can get out of that anger space in order to flourish.
Definitely got to get something on there, you know. Anyhow, let me just play part of this part here. Right. This is from the service this today. I'm gonna give you a part to it.
Thank you for attending. I had a whole big speech written out, but I've just got back from holiday and I'm sick again. So speeches had to go out the window because I won't be able to stand there talking that long. But 43 years later, we're still here. 43 years later, we still have no justice, no peace, no recognition. A few of us who have been involved, who were involved with the fire, have gotten together and we have created a foundation we call the New Cross Fire Foundation. The foundation was created to help our people, especially our young people, through their times of troubles and woes. But more than anything else, more importantly, the foundation has been created to honor and remember the 14 gone and the 56 injured that never get spoken about. Over the years, it has been something that has happened time after time after time in Britain. People of color end up in a tragedy. It gets swept under the carpet. There's no acknowledgement. There's nothing. We don't get any statues built in recognition of. In the Second World War, there were black people fighting on the front line for this country. They've been forgotten. The memorials that were made for them were not fit for purpose. Just like the memorial that has been made for the New Cross Fire, not fit for purpose. Between myself and the other members of the New Cross Fire Foundation and the people, anybody else who wants to get involved with us, we're fighting for legacy. We're fighting for our history. We're fighting for our culture in this country. Please, don't hesitate to get in touch. And always remember, we do this every year in honor of 14 young people whose lives were tragically taken through whatever reason. And they've never been recognized. 14 young people's lives got cut off in their prime. People that could have been doctors, scientists, whatever. They were never given an opportunity. We refuse to let their deaths be in vain. And over the next few years, especially, I and my colleagues will be pushing very, very hard to make sure those names are never forgotten. We want it in the history books. We want it taught in schools, colleges, universities. We want it taught in churches. We want it taught everywhere. Black culture in Britain gets swept under the carpet, but the black culture of Britain created the Britain that we live in now. Thank you. That's all I got to say.
That's what's going on here now. That's one of our brothers there, right? From the he was one of the victims as well of the fire, right? And a lot of people who don't know wouldn't know, right? Because he's held himself with such dignity over the years, you know. And as he says, there were 50 odd who were also victims of that fire. Yeah, injuries and things like this, you know. And I know that he suffered quite extensive burnings on there. Yeah. So therefore, yeah, you know. So we have to give true reverence to those who unfortunately experienced that and gone through that. And it was also, sorry, I've muted you. I muted you. Sorry, I apologize. You know, so like even when we listen to our brother Wayne, right? You have to realize, say that, you know, he's feeling the pain and still living with it all these years, you know. So, you know, we just have to give full acknowledgement to all of those, the families and the friends as well. And it has reached out right around the world. It has reached out in that way, because it's one of those things that was a pinnacle point in the history of Black Britain, right? And you know, let's say, you know, I know that we always say don't let their loss be in vain, but at the same time, why did it happen? It should never have happened. And it should never have been received or handled in that way either. Should never. But even now, it still happens, because we had the Grenfell. We had another one. We had two up in Camberwell as well, right? So, you know, it does still happen. Go ahead, Sister Sandra, before I bring in the callers.
No, I was going to say bring in the callers. One of the things, no, let me just say this before you bring in the callers. It's, he mentioned the monument that they put up, or the statue that they did or didn't put up. And why is it that
it's inadequate? Yeah. Right. Yeah. It was the one that I know of was up in they got a blue plaque on the house, and they've got a memorial down by Richards coming up, Takeaway, Caribbean Takeaway, and it's by the New Cross Gate station, right? And it's a memorial, collage memorial of the time there as well, and it gives full acknowledgement to those who were in the New Cross fire, you know. So, but you know what? Each person takes it how they want to take it, right? But I thought that, you know, for what it was and what it needed to be, yeah, It could have been done different, but it wasn't my project. It wasn't my project. So therefore, you know, we accept for what it is, you know. Yeah, so you know that's how it is. And yeah, let me see who's on the line. We've got who we got on the line. Yes. We got Brother Smiler. Hold on, let me pull you up.
Yes.
Brother Smiler, coming out.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good afternoon again. Now, basically, I wanna, you know, God rest in peace to all those that went on the march.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the Domino guards on the Moonshot Domino Club way
Yeah.
back in the day, and some politician way.
Mm.
All them Domino man was in it. When I live them out.
Mm.
Also, all of them, and that took part in the aftermath, which I won't go there.
Mm.
But like I said, end of the day, that's what we was talking about. Understand me? We had to do something. Because end of the day, I was a youth them days. So
Yeah.
God rest in peace to all of them. And all those that died, God rest in peace to all of them. Because end of the day, it was a joke thing that we call the streets. What? That's a joking, mate. Nah. So end of the day, yeah, that's, you know, and things like that. So, you know, because I remember when that was started up from the Moonshot
That's right.
Centre, back in the street, yeah?
Mhm.
We should wait all them and there and the sisters. That was unity then. Yeah? That's when we was together. Now, I don't know what's going on now. But like I said, that's what we need now.
Yeah. That's what we need
Yeah.
now. For real. That's what you need now.
So that's why I'm showing, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, and also rise up to you guys as well, Galaxy. Loving them.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the good work, because this is what we need right now. Somebody out there pushing out the work, because like I said, we don't see anybody out there doing it. So
Well,
keep up the good work.
you know, one of the things that I am glad with though, right, is that even though, you know, we're here as Galaxy, right? We're seen as veterans. We're seen as veterans, yeah. But even though there are those other stations that are out there, and they're incorporating some kind of dialogue in one way or another, right? And how they develop it is how they develop it. But just get the talking out there, get the communication out there, make their lives be more cohesive. I'm hoping one day, right, that they will all decide to say this post-Cold War business is over. It's over. You know, just have that time of where we can just be working towards, because I know that it will never ever fully be over. But like when we were young, we could literally go from north, west, south, east, west, end up in somebody's house and this and that, and have a party and good time and come back in one piece. Right?
That's right.
Right? And that the youngs now, they can't even go across the road to another area, you know, without having to look over their shoulders and all that. I mean, like us as mature people, we take it for granted that we can just go here or there and everywhere, you know. But in actual fact, a lot of our young people are living in fear of just going from here, there, or whatever, you know. A lot of them, and it's a shame. It is a real shame, because I feel that is one of the things that has been one of the biggest poison of our community recently. Anyway.
Hello.
Okay then, bro. Let's have those come in now. So keep up the good work, yeah?
Yeah, Kingman. Thank you.
Okay.
Sister Sandra? What's this now? Is this somebody else?
Hello, I'm Burchak.
Oh, Burchak, how you doing, brother? And I've got Brother Adams here as well. Go on.
I'm an outsider, so you know I'm a total outsider. I'm a Turkish listener, and you know I found it very, very hard to take in the Glenfield Tower fire
Why?
The New Cross fire, because I've heard it on another community station that's closed down permanently. And when I heard, I felt tears down my eyes. You know, because the man said and he said that I can't say more for legal reasons. So these are the things. I'm an outsider. I'm a Turkish person, and that person, people that have died in the New Cross fire, the Glenfield Tower fire, and you know what? The mainstream stations swept under the carpet, and they were talking about a boxer which was going to have another fight with another boxer, and it was, I don't know if it was Mayweather or thingy, but it really brought tears down my eyes. I mean, fires are happening right now, and whoever that it could hearsay, allegedly, it could be deliberate fire. I think, but remember this: when you set a fire, anybody, do you know how much damage it does to the air?
I know.
How much damage it
No,
does.
we
It's not just that.
We're aware of that, brother. We're aware of that. We're aware of that. But the thing is,
you know,
hold on.
Uh-huh.
The hurtful thing about it, even though the lives were lost on that incident there, right, down in New Cross, down in New Cross there, right, it was the way how society and the authorities reacted towards that, which really invigorated the anger and the disdain from so many, and a lot of people were not, and unfortunate is to say, a lot of people were not even aware of the depth of the hatred which these people had for us, right? And I would say hatred they had for us, you know. And it's a shame. It's a shame. Hold on, let me just bring in Brother Adam.
And the Glenfield Tower.
Okay.
And the Glenfield Tower
Yeah,
fire. I could never forget that. I could never forget those. It still makes me want to cry. How did the fire brigade not react to it? There could be some way of reacting. I just don't know.
Well,
I mean, the families, their lives have been lost. You know, if that happened to one of my, children, for example, our children, I would be raised.
all around the world, it's been touched like that right now. Brother Adam.
Yes, hi, yeah.
Coming out.
Sorry about earlier, I had to go and do something.
It's all right. You have to. Yeah.
So you're obviously talking about the whole thing about the New Cross massacre.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, again, you know, we have to make sure that we keep this alive with our young people, and you know, nobody should be waiting for anybody to write a book or to you know, do some kind of a video or a documentary or even a song. Nobody should be waiting for that. They should just get on with it and do it themselves. So you know, that's what I'm all for. So I think there was a sister last year I was speaking to. She said that she wrote a poem, and hopefully, you know, that poem, she's done something with that poem, and it's not just sitting on her hard drive. And anybody else who's doing something, you know, make sure you come with it and do something, because nobody's going to do it for us, and they shouldn't do it for us either. So there's nothing stopping us from doing these things ourselves. But weren't you saying something about this? Some young people who may be scared to actually go to certain parts of the country, of the city, of London or whatever.
Yeah, Go ahead. Sorry.
I just need to clarify something. So with those young people who say that they're scared to go to certain places, because I was having a discussion with some friends of mine the other day. I said, so, because they were saying that, a lot of the young people are scared. And I said, right, but so, you know, for example, somebody lives in North London and then they go up to South London and they're going to the church convention, or they're going to the Nation of Islam meeting, or they're going to the Black Power meeting. So they leave from North London to go up to South London to the Black Power meeting. Are they then, therefore, as they're walking through the streets of South London, are they more likely going to be stopped by a group of people from North London and attacked because they're going to the Black Power meeting.
Yes, yes. And it
They will be
literally,
attacked.
it literally is like that. They have to be aware of what area they are, where they're walking, who's around them, and they literally are like that. It literally is like that.
Can anybody else perhaps support that? Because I mean, another example that I gave was, a young man or young woman going from North London, from South London to North London. She's going to the church convention in North London. So she takes the tube from South London down to North London.
All they see is another person from another area.
Can I just
into the area. Go ahead.
It's noisy here, so let me just say quickly. So something I used to work with a brother. So his children grown up in Southeast London. He moved out with his family out of Southeast London. The grandparents had transitioned. The children were going back to the family home, the grandparents' home. They'd only moved out of the home. And in going back to that home, they were accosted by individuals who never moved out of the area, asking them who they are, what are they doing here. So it's got nothing to do with church, nothing to do with religion. All they're doing is going back to the family home in order to see whoever was still in the family home to say greetings, and they were being accosted. Things are getting bad out there for the young people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they were being asked, what are you doing around here?
Yep.
They actually took their mobile phone and jewelry, watch, whatever they were wearing. Those were two young men who are black belts in karate. So they could have defended themselves. They chose not to hand everything over, walk on. But they could have effectively taken those young other people that were stopping them. They could have taken them out because they are proficient in karate, and one of them has represented the UK abroad. So they can handle themselves, and they chose not to because they recognized the time and the season they were in, and they just handed it over and walked on by.
I wonder what would have happened if they had defended themselves against the injustice.
They would have been charged.
And then those people who tried to rob them probably would have learned a serious lesson.
They would have been charged. That was the end of their life.
They would have been charged because that person would have had to say that their life is in danger, right? So therefore they had to use some form of defense, right? Yeah. And if that person got injured, they would be charged with ABH. And I know that for a fact.
Even if they're defending their own,
even if
their own life.
Even if they're defending their own self, right? And I've been in court with that. I've been in court with that.
So somebody came to attack you, to take your life. You defended yourself, and you went to court.
That's right. They took me to court. ABH.
For defending your own life.
And it's only when I gave evidence and it corroborated with somebody else who was there, who gave the same evidence to me, right? That they put it down to, they let me off with a caution.
Well, that's different then, isn't it? Because I mean, the fact that you could corroborate that you were defending your life, that's different. That's different to saying, well, I just beat them up because I wanted to.
No. Wait a minute. The rules of martial arts are that you can't initiate anything. You can tell them and warn them that you are trained and proficient, which you should do, right? But you can't initiate anything. You only can use it as a defense.
But that's what I'm saying, because you're not being the aggressor. If those boys came up to those young men and said, give me your mobile phone or I'm going to stab you in the neck, then they're basically saying, right, I've got to defend myself. So nobody's telling them to go out and become the aggressor. You're defending yourself. That's a completely different thing.
It still is down to their actions. You only can react. You can't even if somebody says it, you can't do anything about it.
But the underlying thing is that they were not able to go back into an area because of the postcode lottery, the postcode war. And I've even got something which is even closer to my godson. When he moved out of Croydon and moved further out to one of the neighbouring boroughs, he chose not to go and study in Croydon. And if his mother wasn't picking him up, driving, he wasn't leaving his yard because his best friend being cornered on a bus because he was in a different postcode. So this is a thing that the young people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. But I'm mindful of the time.
If anything, I really would like, if we're going to push this thing forward, like, and to find anything out of this annual remembrance of the fire, that we push it forward to just bring back the unity that we had, you know, as Brother Smiler was saying, right? That, you know, bring back the unity that we had, you know, which would be such a tremendous thing, such a tremendous. All I know, the population would boom.
Yeah. 100-fold, yeah.
Yeah, man, the population would boom. I'm telling you. But anyhow. Listen, Brother Adam, I've come to the top of the hour, so I'm going to close out my show now. Okay?
All right, okay.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Brother Adam, and thank you for all the callers. We've had we've spoken about a number of things, but I think the core is in terms of how do we as individuals act or interact with each other, what support can we give to our loved ones, whether they be older than us or younger than us, so that they can have a quality of life that they would like.
Definitely. Right then, my sister, I'm going to say thank you for joining us on the Blacknificent Show this strong, and we look forward to you being with us in the near future. Next up will be our sister Adawa.
When you're wearing and feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will drive them home. Oh, when again I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough and friends just can't leave out like a breeze over troubled water. I will lay me down like a breeze over troubled water. I will lay me down when you're down and out, when you're on the street, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you over again. Take your part. Oh, when dark